Hello, everybody. Welcome to Far Loan Sales. I am Infrit, and I'm happy that you are joining me on this adventure. This game, I recently played through it. Yeah, it kinda is, ain't it? Well, welcome to my brain, unfortunately. This is just how things work, okay? But, it's always better to know where to find information than the information itself sometimes. At least more efficient that way, and that's how my brain kind of works. But, anyway, welcome to Far Loan Sales. I am Infrit, first time streaming, so, kind of excited about that one. So, thank you for joining me on this milestone in this adventure. But this is a very artsy game. It's not too action-packed. It's more of a vibey thing. So, I'm looking to kind of just relax in everything today. So, we're gonna do a playthrough of Far Loan Sales. It's actually a very, very pretty game. It's a lot of fun. If you want to try it out, it is on Steam. I think it's 10, 20 bucks. But, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Again, I have played this before. I know a little bit about what's going on. I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything. But I feel like playing through it again, there's a lot of stuff that I missed, and I never got to actually enjoy the game or my thought process through any of it because I was just worried about mechanics and figuring everything out, and everything was kind of all simultaneous. And I think on this playthrough I can kind of just sort of break down everything, take what I know is going to happen and just kind of use that and be like, but I don't think you're supposed to figure out what's happening. I think you're just supposed to exist in the universe, which is a great euphemism when it comes to life as well. But yeah, let's see what's going on. Why do you start out at a tree house and you're just chilling on this concrete slab with this picture? This, he's got to be somebody important to you. Maybe he's your dad, or I don't know. From what I know about this, I feel like maybe you had a if you guys don't know anything about this game, it is a lot to do with locomotives, as you can see up at that schematic. But I mean, it feels like either you had a, you had the passion for locomotives, and maybe, you got that from your father. Maybe he was a engineer or something, and made these things, or maybe he's just a random person and you just kind of took over his work. Because why? I mean, it's in your backyard, and I mean, I have the mailbox. Yeah, this is your mailbox. So I don't know. I feel like every little thing is some kind of foreshadowing or euphemism or some kind of philosophical thing. You've been here for a very long time because your mailbox is in complete disarray. The house obviously is it looks like it's falling apart. At the same time though, you've got a lantern that is actually on. So clearly, you live here. It's not, it looks dilapidated, but you're here. I always wondered, what was the turning point? Why go on this journey now? Why not tomorrow? Why not, the next day? You got a bag packed too, and, in this, I feel like this has something to do with, a lot deeper of the story. Why is there a baby carriage at, underneath the house? It's just strange. You have your bag packed, you're ready to go. So, yeah, I figure you just kind of have to hit the button and go. But, you've got this town. The town is obviously destroyed, and it feels like a post-apocalyptic, sort of a steampunk feel. It's, something happened. And if you're wondering, if you've never played this game, really, you're not looking at, you know, having very much dialogue. You're not going to run into journal entries. This is all going to be just whatever you see. Um, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you are completely right as far as black, white, and red. Well, you see orange on the seagull too, you know. So I mean, it would be kind of cool if you were, you know, like a dog or something like that, like underneath all of this. But we have pictures, like we are clearly humans. I don't think we're any kind of that, and there is like very tiny bits of color. But yeah, that is kind of an interesting point though, as far as uh, well, good point. Yeah, shades of red. I believe we talked before about shades of colors, but I don't know. I feel like black and white, you know, like there's different shades of. Well, yeah, you were just taking shades. See, when I imagine like a dog seeing something, it's like a comic. It is one shade of black, one shade of white. That is it. So I don't know. My perspective, like how I imagine a pup seeing something like that, would be interesting, you know. But then again, I think that perception, when it comes to all things, is interesting. Like bees seeing through radiation and stuff like that, or even you know, if like say like there's a chair, you know, but you always learn that it was called something different. Like, you know, that's not a chair to you. This thing is a chair to you. So it has a lot to do with perception, and that always intrigued me is like the differences. Like what if somebody grew up and they were always told that, you know, a different color was like red rather than what we all know it to be. How would that like mess with somebody? How would that person like experience the world? And I don't know. I feel like anything having to do with black and white, like that is setting the tone. Like it is black and white. It is binary. And honestly, as far as, you know, like the color scheme though, like that binary, that probably has something to do with like the entire universe too. Like I get the daunting sense of like having been alone for a very long time. You know, like you're in a dilapidated house, it's falling apart. You know that there is no one. Like literally, you are sitting in your backyard, just doing nothing. So like that kind of hits some vibes with me. But anyway, we are. Here is our locomotive here. Something I like about what this game actually does is the pacing of it. The pacing is really, you know, like right now, it's teaching you the mechanics and everything, so you're focused on that. And again, why I really wanted to kind of sit here and play this again, because like at the very beginning, I didn't know about the fact that there's this little timer here. Like you touch it, you're good to go. I was worried about the steam and like whether I had enough fuel, in which case I'm about to run out. But, you know, it was very interesting when I first played through, because I didn't have all these mechanics down. I didn't know about the timing. I didn't know about being able to just keep things going. And I absolutely enjoy that, like, the developers kind of made it where I feel like they understood this. That's why you're just on a lake bed, and then they will slowly, you know, you'll see, they start to slowly throw more and more stuff at you. You know, they make it known, it's like, hey, yeah, fuel's a thing, you might need to worry about this. And, you know, I think it's really neat, because you have no idea, you really have no idea if, like, hey, am I going to have a lot of resources, you know? I'm, like, right now, I am running out. Like, all I have is, like, my little suitcase up there, in which case, okay, I have a chair too. Like, check this out, I've got a chair. You know what? I don't want to get rid of the chair. I really don't. We're gonna keep the chair. Okay, there we go. See, like, sometimes you just have to wait around long enough and a solution will present itself. But yes, I am going to try to keep the chair. I feel like the chair, like, there's something, some things have to be sacred. So I am going to keep the chair. Because I feel like, just as a person, I always need, like, a side objective. Yes, keep the chair. Like, it's going to be with us, like, the entire time. That is my goal in life right now, is literally that chair. In fact, like, just to make sure, you know what, we don't need to see the bed. Like, bed is for sleeping. So why the hell, like, we maybe need to see so that we don't do that, but guess what, chair? Don't ask me how the hell that hook works, but that's where the chair is staying. I will be holding the chair come the end of this game. Guaranteed. Mark my words. Hashtag keep the chair, yes. I mean, you can sleep in a chair. There's so many things that a chair will do for you. Like, you need to have something be sacred. And I mean, if you absolutely needed it, that's firewood. You could gnaw on it. I don't know how, like, well it would digest, but, like, you know, any port in a storm. Get it, because we're on a lake bed. But, nah, we are going to continue on. We are keeping that damn chair, though. I think I had, in my original playthrough, the mailbox was something I was really worried about for whatever reason. And, it was actually really neat because I kept that mailbox, like, the entire playthrough. And there's actually an achievement, if you didn't know, Little Piece of Home. And I ended up getting that achievement completely on accident, just because, like, my brain was like, no, I need to keep something. So that was actually really neat. Okay, let's see what's actually going on. Push the button. So yeah, this button here, like, just, I wish there was a way that you could just go ahead and, like, keep it pressed in. Because, like, you constantly are just, like, pulled in so many directions. See, oh, more boxes. Yep. See, this is what I feel ends up killing people more often than not, is just you don't know what's coming. So you're, like, very much like, oh, I need all the resources. Oh, God. Okay, cool. So I'm a little worried, because this might be the first time this has happened, but, I don't think I can actually reach that without a box. So I'm going to need to... Yeah, I cannot reach the platform without that, so... Just a little bit further, because I don't want this... You can have a runaway train scenario. There we go. It has happened before. I do not doubt, with how my brain works, that it is going to happen again. But, yeah, you can absolutely have this, like, careen down, like, a hill and just not be able to... Fucking, there you go. See, you know, it all comes full circle. Have you guys ever noticed that? Like, sometimes there's a reason that you do something. You can't tell what it is. You know for a fact, though, it's a good reason. And then later on, it's like, oh, hey, like, that thing that I did before. Like, it's allowed me to do this. Like, that must have been the reason. You know, like, I don't know, when you get into, like, eldritch gods and whatnot, you know, maybe that chair is secretly, like, an eldritch god. And, like, just somehow, like, it's been sent to help us on this journey. At least we have some help with this journey. Oh my god. You know, and that's another thing that I hate. Freaking, you know, you'd think, like, you know, I'm one of those people that I love to have, like, the timing be just, like, so perfect in, like, the chances that it actually happens are so few and far between. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna stop it here, because I'm pretty sure I can just go ahead and just push all of this onto my little locomotive here. But what is that? Okay, that's a crane in the background. See, like, everything is, like, industrialized. Like, you have all this, like, what did I grab? I don't need the hook. Yeah, there we go. We're really doing this efficiently now, just shoving it all on. But yeah, like, if you look in the background, I mean, it's just, like, there's nothing. Like, we're clearly, I mean, this might not even be, like, a lake bed. You know, this could be... You don't really... Okay, I guess you do have a sense of ocean. Well, yeah, I started out at about 2,400. So we're at about... We've gone about 200 miles or meters. Oh my god. My management is bad. You know, the sad thing is I only played this, like, 2 weeks ago, and I've already forgotten all the good habits I had. So it's probably good that I'm playing this again. Like, I really, really did want to go ahead and focus on, like, story and everything in the universe and the game and how pretty it looks, but, time to work on multitasking. But yeah, if you're curious, like, it seems like an easy thing when you're watching it, but, you know, when you're trying to just, like, kind of get the feel for the universe, and you're trying to manage this freaking timing button, and you're going up a hill, and your steam is building up, and you're running out of fuel every 5 fucking seconds, and it's just so much, and... What is that? Okay, more docks and ships. He must be at, like, a dry dock or something. There's a buoy. There's a box. Okay. Okay, now, everybody saw me be able to do that before, and now it's not going to let me do it. See? We're cursed. The journey's cursed. It's okay, it'll get better. It always gets better. Big takeaway on everything, no matter how hard or difficult or tedious something seems. Just the fact that you spend more time on it means that it will eventually get better. There's a analogy, actually. It's like running up a hill. The hill never gets easier. Like, it never gets, you know, like, less of a steep grade or anything like that. But it feels easier. The main difference. Okay, that's brick. Okay, I thought that was like the hull of a ship. No, that's like a big dock. That's like a ferry dock. For like a very large ship. So yeah, we are definitely on like some kind of... Yeah, see, storage containers. I feel like this would be like a Great Lakes kind of thing, right? Like, why would you have all of this, like, oh shit, yeah, so, another fun thing that happens is crap like that. Yeah, so. We crashed, it's fine, though. But let's see. You have an elevator on a locomotive. See, I don't know. Is that, like, a steampunk thing as far as, like, the architecture here, as far as how this thing is built? Like, I get that you have, like, the... like wind flag and everything like that, but as far as like what would you consider, like, is that like steampunk or gothic, or because to me I classify that as like steampunk, especially with all like the little, like, you know, you're burning something. I feel like that's steam going into like your engine and propelling you forward. I feel like that steampunk. What did I just pick up? A ball. The entertainment is very important. We are taking the ball. Fucking 3 points. But, yeah, we're taking the ball. Okay, you can go in here. See, I played this 2 weeks ago, and I still don't know a whole lot. Like, I know we get our sails here. But, for sure steampunk. That's what I thought. Can't you, like, combine them, though, as far as, you got steampunk and gothic and, steampunk dog. Dude, there used to be a game out there, I think it was like Too Human or something like that, where they couldn't produce it anymore because they took... Well, I don't think they meant to take it, but it was God of War's battle system, and they got sued really heavily, but it was supposed to be like Nordic stuff. But yeah, they got sued, and you can't find the game anymore, but one of the first bosses was like legitimately a cyber, steampunk, gothic, Nordic, like, dog. It was really cool. It was like a grinder and everything like that. One of the first, like, things that I actually looked at in gaming was like, oh, hey, like, that does not look pleasant. I don't think my engine's even on. Oh, Jesus Christ. I fucking wasn't paying attention there. Okay, so we got a lighthouse and everything. I do like the fact that the pacing of the game is kind of slower, though. Seagulls. You know, it's been so long. I was just talking to somebody that, I think it was my brother, actually, that I haven't seen seagulls in a very long time. And that kind of got us on the subject of, well, like, how many other things haven't you seen in a very long time? I need to go to, like, a beach or something, get some sun, get out of my house. Okay, see, why is there just a like a microbus at what effectively would be the bottom of a lake bed. Like, we've been going downhill. Like, we haven't come back up. We're still on the lake bed. Like, and then there's storage containers. So it's like, oh yeah, water-based stuff, water-based stuff, water-based stuff. Hey, like, look, here's a bus. And that's the other thing too, why, you know, maybe that was a little bit of a spoiler thing, was, like, the dread and, like, the loneliness of everything. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't imagine you would find much company at the bottom of a, you know, lake type of deal. But at the same time, you would think that somebody would notice a giant train going across their stuff. But no, there's just nobody. Pardon me, excuse me. I mean, I would say, like... Whoops. Well... It might be a good thing if there's nobody living here, because, if somebody was living there, I think somebody would be really, really not happy. But... It's like a suitcase. I don't know, we might have literally just ran over somebody's home. Which, that's really unfortunate, but nobody's come out, nobody's yelling at us, so we're just gonna pretend. No, we're fine. Is that another ball? Looks like a ball. Okay. So, like, I mean, we're obviously... I mean, it looks like this ship was already there, or they beached the ship. But, like, the docks were further back. So, why is it that, like, there's this, like, structure here? Or, like... Oh! See, this is what I'm talking about, why I'm kind of happy that I'm playing through this again. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, like, if there's anything that's, like, leading to the contrary, but this looks like a ship that's been capsized, right? Well, no, because the painting's the right way up. But why is there, why is the propeller up there, then? Or maybe the propeller fell off and, like, wound up over here? That's a lot of circumstances that would all have to be, like, perfectly in line. Well, then again, I mean... Oh, shit. Oh, God. I've been betrayed! Come on, come on. Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, no! Okay, okay, well, like, I mean, I think we're okay! Come back! Okay, it's going on an uphill. I think we're okay. Oh no, the fucking sails are up! Come back! Oh, thank God. Oh, you know, it's good. It's good. It's really good that the developers had planned ahead for people being idiots. Oh God, okay. So what I was saying before is that it's clearly like a ship back there. Now the propeller actually ending up in like what I would feel like is like the mast. That seems like a lot of stuff that would have to be like perfectly lined up. But then again, like we had the sails like up there, you know. What if like you put all this stuff in place, like knowing each leg of this journey, like on the way to wherever you are, you were building all of this stuff, so that on the way back, you would be able to get it. That would be kind of a cool concept, I think. So I mean, why have sails if you have an engine? Like I feel you kind of like planned ahead for this journey. But yeah, yeah, like that's terrifying. Like honestly, my original playthrough, that did not like there was one case where that had happened, but it wasn't like that bad where it was like, oh hey, like the sail is up, like there's no way to actually like slow this thing down. Yeah, that was a pretty bad catastrophe, actually. That, like, luckily, at least I know, like, I can't possibly, like, get too far away from this thing. But 100%, like, you know, that was, you know, Uber's like, hey, I'm outside your house, and, like, the second he sees you, like, I'm running over more shit. Sorry. That's like your Uber, pretty much like, hey, I'm outside, and the second he sees you open the door, he just starts taking off, and he knows, like, you know, you've got, like, a job interview, like, you've got something important, and he's just like, bye! not even like by, like he's just close enough where like you think you can reach the handle. Have you ever done that to somebody? Just like literally coast down the road, like you know they're trying to like reach for it, but every time they reach for the handle, you hit the gas again. It's just a dick move. But at the same time, it's so entertaining. Okay, so see, this is where I get a little bit lost when it comes to this game. Because, like, all of this has been, like, okay, like, all of this is underwater. Yeah, you know, I don't know, some of us, it's like, 20 bucks is 20 bucks. But, you know, I guess he doesn't have too much to worry about. You know, Uber must be paying pretty freaking good. Or I'm not showing enough leg. I heard that's a way that, you know, that kind of stuff works out. But, fucking Uber drivers. You know, I've wanted to go ahead and use Uber. Like, I have a very, like, bad thing when it comes to driving. But I'm always, like, I'm just, like, driving has always, like, terrified me. Then again, like, everything terrifies me. Strangers terrify me. I don't like people. I think, you know, I think people in general... Holy. That actually filled my entire engine. I don't remember that happening. But, nah, a lot of things I think are kind of, like, terrifying when you, like, really break them down. I think it's just kind of, like, everything's so disassociated now, as far as, like, you know, we're all allowed to be assholes, for instance, like, online. Like, nobody knows that, like, it's particularly you. There are no consequences. I think that feeds over a lot into, like, real life. But, nah, I always wanted to kind of, like, figure out what, like, Uber and whatnot had to do with stuff, but, like, couldn't figure out the account information. I got scared about, like, you know, oh, well, what if somebody stole my information, and what if I, you know, had somebody who was more crazy than me as far as an Uber driver. I know that's hard to imagine. And there's also the part of me that's like, oh, hey, I hate driving, but, you know, you can't beat them, join them. I want to be the crazy Uber driver, see? And, like, this whole situation, as far as, like, being crazy, is, like, why in the hell? Like, you've got this whole setup. You've got a bridge built. So, like, I feel like people were around as far as what's going on in this world. It's just... Why would you have this built? Why is there a bridge if, like, this was just, like, a lake bed or an ocean floor? Like, somebody obviously, like, the water was gone, and then somebody built this. They built it, not built it well. But you know what I'm saying? Like, why is this here? And there's a bike here that was just left. Like, somebody built all of this. But it's like, why? Why would you go through all of this? We're gonna continue on. Do you think they used parts of the ship to go ahead and build all of this? Steal the bike. Dude. Honestly, I probably, like, I would. Like, if it were me, yes. Like, I just found a bike type of deal. Like, this could 100% go wrong. But, like, if we're talking about, like, how prepared I usually get when it comes to, like, situations like this, yes, for science. For science, 100%. But, I mean, I would probably be sitting here cutting out, like, metal. Like, I would try to find, like, a butane torch and cut out, like, metal pieces of the ship. And it's just like, oh, well, like, no, we can never move on. Because, like, I might need that other piece of the ship. You can't tell. People genuinely worry about whether I become a hoarder or not. I genuinely worry about becoming a hoarder sometimes. Oh, hello, box. Hello, box. We might need that box. As far as I can tell, yes. Like, that's what's fun about sort of, like, imagining what's going on. Machines and seagulls, like, it's clear that people were around. Like, this ain't like a, you know, oh, like, last person on Earth or a new planet type of deal. So clearly people were around. And it's like, what happened, you know, and it's part of the fun, is, you know, part of why I feel like the developer, why this is such, you know, an artist game, is, you know, your mind comes up with like what happened. Like right now, I mean, it could be that, like, no, there are tons of people and we are just in a very like isolated area and just going through and there just happens to be nobody here. It could be that it's post-apocalyptic, you know. And they throw little items in, I feel, that like really it just makes your mind kind of like go to places. So like, you know, like this here, it's just, you know, what is that, like a file or a stack of books or something, you know? Well, knowledge is power. Literally. But, yeah, like, what do you think happened? Like, you know, that's literally what this all is all about. Like, my take on it, you know, is, like, hey, clearly something, I don't want to say global warming, because everybody goes to fucking global warming. But, like, the water is all gone. Like, there is very clearly less water here now than what there was at the time that all these ships and everything were going in. There's more shit! But, like, what is your take on it? Because I feel like that's going to be, like, everybody's first take. Is, like, you know, it's like, yeah, global warming for sure. There's no water, clearly. And, like, I feel like, you know, well, just used, I mean, I wouldn't say just used. Like, that bridge, 100%, like, fell apart. Like, we hit the button, it fell apart. So it's like, again, I mean, obviously, like, to keep true, you know, that's getting into, you know, sort of like, you know, Last Man, like, Left on Earth, like, old school, like, X-Files. Well, I don't know. Like, it still seemed rusted, and, you know, I'm pretty sure you were pointing out earlier about, you know, everything's black, white, like, there are no other colors. Well, actually, hold on, I can test that real quick, because water's blue. Okay, see, is that blue or is that white? That's blue, correct? So I think, does that not prove the, we're clearly not, like, dogs, because, like, we can see the color blue. So we're not dogs. Hypothesis tested and confirmed, we are not dogs. Okay, so we are not dogs then. Or at the very least, if we are dogs, we have physically evolved to see other spectrums. Like, there's a fucking bus! Killed my dog theory. Okay, what is killed my dog theory? You're gonna have to explain that one to me. Because I made no mention to killing anybody's dog. I made mention of dogs evolving. Well, hey, see, there's rain, and... Okay, we've got rain, we've got... So there is water. Just less water. But why, though? Like, why did it get so bad? Well, I'm pretty sure... Well, that depends on where you are. Like, I'm originally from Michigan, so... I never got to deal with, like, a drought or, like, there being any kind of, like, water issue. More colors. But nah, I mean, oh, I just left behind. Look at all that freaking fuel I just left behind. Okay, but we can go ahead and confirm, like, you know, it still is raining, and it seems like that kind of crept up really quick. I mean, some areas, like, it does do that anyway, but it's just, why did all of this happen? You know, okay, well, I mean, we did talk about how this voyage is cursed as well, so that's great. We are on fire in the not so good. Well, I mean, okay, so it could still be global warming. God damn it. Yeah, like, what is it? Frankenweenie is the Frankenstein dog or whatever. But no, we do have. It could be like a geological like storm. Like there are tons of things talking about like if the magnetosphere and everything like did screw up, we would be met with like a lot of electrical storms. Or the movie To the Core, for instance. Yeah, like a small change in which way the core is turning could lead to like massive electrical storms. But now it's over. Sorry, I found more boxes. My brain and having to collect everything. Luckily, it doesn't go so bad. It's like I have to collect every achievement ever, so I have to replay something 3 million times. But it is bad enough where I do have to manage things. Like, it's gonna be bad. Like, that most likely what's going to happen. Well, yeah, well, I mean, just like with today's events, like, the Earth's core they're finding is, like, trying to reverse, from what I hear, and everybody's freaking out, but, like, it's not necessarily the core, I guess, like, changes over and over and over again, so they're kind of using that as, like, scare tactics, I would say, but, I don't know, maybe there is something to that. I mean, this game did not come out very long ago. So, I mean, it could be playing off of that. But, I mean, as far as, like, what we know, I mean, the world did something happen. And there's not very many people in this particular area. I mean, it's clearly people. I was gonna say, it's like, hey, maybe we're aliens and everything like that, and that would be, like, a pretty funny twist, but, you know, I mean, 2 legs, 2 arms, a torso, and a head equals a body. So, yeah, I think we're people. At the very least, I think we are humans. Based on that, I mean, the guy had, you know, we don't know if he's our dad or what, but he had facial hair, he had, you know, what we know to be human, like, characteristics. Oh, wow. So, something just, like, if you look at the sky, yeah, see, like, right there, very good point as far as, yeah, seagulls, and, you know, there are creatures that are very much akin to Earth. So, yeah, I think we're still on Earth, so obviously it's gotta be something wrong happened. But, something beautiful, actually, that I remember actually really liking about, when I went through my original playthrough was the sky. Like, when is the last time you were able to actually, like, look and see stars? Like, I live in kind of a city, so the light pollution and everything, I don't remember the last time seeing, like, just a field of stars. And I like that, you know, that they add stuff like that, but it also does lend to the, like, there is nothing around. Like, if there was cities, if there were things like, you know, polluting the air and everything like that, you would not be able to see the stars. Which I find sad. I think, little small things like that. I think people nowadays with technology and everything really kind of lose sight of just the things that should be there that should amaze us and make us question things. And now we can't question anything anymore. It's another reason why I really like this game. Oh yeah, 100%. Like around here, I mean, we've got like state parks and stuff like that, but I don't know, you can tell it's man-made. You know, I've always wanted to go somewhere that 100% it's like people have not touched. And just see what stuff was like before, you know, humans got their grubby little hands on everything. Okay, let's not make the same mistake we did before and actually put on the parking brake. And like the little level of detail, like you hit the brake and that little like metal spoke at the very bottom that I'm standing over right now just comes down. Like I do love the I love the little details. But yeah, I don't know, is there any place left that's like just natural, that isn't like, you know, an actual tourist attraction. I mean, you can go to like caverns and everything like that, but I mean, say for like Easter Island, where literally the residents will most likely kill, murder, and eat you. Like, and that, not Easter Island, but yeah, the Sentinel Islands. It's like the last known place where there's like indigenous life still that like hasn't been touched by civilization. Pretty sure some guy tried to go there and sell Bibles, and yeah, that Sentinel Island, you know, they decided to go ahead and have him for dinner. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's kind of sad. Like, you can only really experience anything like that anymore through art or through like a game or some kind of, you know, I don't want to say like fabricated experience, but just through something that's not your own eyes. But I do like when it does come to developers and everything, it's something like this. Like, I don't know, I feel like you can get way too involved in progression, way too involved in whatever like is going on immediately around you, and just forget sometimes that sometimes we miss really like pretty things just like that are there. You know, the sad thing is, you know, I want to focus on the game too, but I do enjoy these little moments. Like, this is why I got into gaming, is to experience things that I couldn't normally. It's just kind of sad when you realize that like natural things you can't experience normally anymore either. And as far as like what's going on, I mean, we're still at the bottom of this lake bed, you know. Like, the pacing on the game is very nice, but it just keeps going. You know, we finally reached like a fence. It looks like there's a road too, actually. Like, now that we're actually stopped and we've got lights on everything, like, but we never went up in elevation, so we've got to still be at the bottom of a lake bed, or what used to be. I mean, they're sending home that like, hey, like, this has been dried up for a while. Like, there's a fence. Like, somebody built this fence, and it's very, like, unless somebody, like, dove underwater and was like, nope, I'm gonna build a fence, like, right here at this particular spot underneath the waves. Like, I don't want my fish. I don't want bigger fish to, like, get through this particular fence. Like, obviously, we are, civilization has gone on for a time. We're gonna add breaking and entering to our rap sheet. Okay. Yeah, so this has gone on for a time. Like, this is like another dock. Like, oh, we're gonna. Okay, so sort of what kind of hit me, and those are speakers. So clearly, so how I'm kind of seeing things is obviously like this has gone on for a while. So like as the water level continually like got lower and lower and lower, I mean, I don't know though, like how long would a water level have to be like at a certain point for you to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna build this like dock here? But at the same time, I feel like it's almost exponential. Like, you know, it started out slow because like you had the big dock and the wharf, like our modern day technology, and then it slowly like it moved in. And then it was like, okay, like we still have like, you know, some industrious stuff, but like really it's kind of like, you know, it's smaller scale. Like, you know, you can throw big stuff together like decently quick, but then it gets into like very like crude, like something like this, you know, and I mean, like it's basic speakers hooked up, and we're actually going pretty high up. Okay, so that's a radio. Yeah, the tower's moving. See, I love the detail. Like, you know, basic architecture stuff is like, you know, buildings are built so that they can go ahead and sway, like skyscrapers and whatnot. So like when they are buffeted by the wind, that they actually like can move. That moves it that way. But yeah, imagining like being on a skyscraper, like in this case, like you can tell like it moved. Fucking elevator music. So, there would have to be something playing this, you know. Do you think it's like internet age? Like maybe like they just have internet, like that's how elevators work, is they literally are all just synced to the same satellite playing the same music? And they're all just like patched in, and it's like in the cloud somewhere. We're taking the radio with us, by the way. I can't stress enough. Oh, we're gonna sit and listen for a minute. We are not burning the radio. Maybe we should burn the radio. Ah, see, a man of culture, I see. Now, I appreciate the basics. I do want to get like into like classical at some point, you know. I used to be in band, but you know, violins, everything like that. What, burn the radio? Burn the radio. Oh, okay, we want to burn the radio? No, we're gonna keep the radio. Mainly because, like I said, I feel like there's gonna be a message on that, because I've played through this once before. Like I said, you can tell by my little odometer. But I couldn't really pay attention to before, so that's something like we're gonna have to keep in mind. Like I want to know if something comes through the radio. Like if you think about like the numbers broadcast, for instance, that it's just random sets of numbers, and people are like, oh no, like, you know, that's Russia spying on us or something like that, you know. And they're giving like literally codes to each other using our radio signals. Like, I wonder if there's something like that. And I kind of want to know, like, you know, so if you do hear something, because I might get a little too preoccupied trying to manage literally everything else. I mean, right now we've got yeah, we've got our music and everything like that. I mean, we just set the station, though, so that would be... I don't know, does anybody know how radios work? Like, if you have it set to a certain station, like... Well, I mean, yeah, they kinda... Like, in your car, like, you can, like, start moving into different areas, and, like, one station will, lead into another. I don't know, radio waves always fascinated me. Actually, believe it or not, I did learn, I am going through some courses right now having to do with computers. But not internet. That's radio waves. Like, I did not know that. I thought they were their own thing. But no, it is actually radio waves. I thought that was actually pretty neat, you know. But like I know as far as like broadband, you usually have your what is it, like 3.2, and then you've got your 5 point something. But yeah, those are legitimately it's radio waves. Like your router like produces the radio waves, and you know your devices all actually tune into it. It's wild how far stuff has gotten. Oh, holy crap. Okay. That's also, like, that is my favorite time of day. Like, right here. Like, what's being illustrated is, like, you can still see the stars, but, like, the sun is coming up, so it's that, like, very cross between, like, light, you know, night and day. But, like, we've got pipelines and now wind turbines. So, energy production, well, I mean, obviously, we just hit a freaking radio tower. You kind of need power for that. Pretty sure it helps a little bit, but okay, it's a broken pipeline. But I don't know, maybe it's like a sense of like too little too late. You know, like I kind of get those vibes too. You know, I mean, you've got a lot of people out there that are just like, oh yeah, we're destroying the planet, and you've got equally as many people saying it's like, oh no, like we're fine, like, you know, they're freaking out about nothing. But it does kind of give that sense of like, hey, like, you know, we knew this was going on, and like the vibe I get from these wind turbines is like, hey, we knew we were screwing up. Like, clearly, we had to. Like, obviously, the water levels were receding to a point where we started building more docks, like, further in where the water had come to, and we started to sort of, like, build onto, like, we have fences that, like, were very clearly at the bottom of, like, these lake beds and everything, and, like, little farmhouses like this. Like, we knew this was going on. But, like, I feel like we knew it was going on, and we tried to, like, as a species, kind of, like, find a way to, like, sustain it. Buffalo? That is a buffalo, right? I remember the old, like, advertisements where it's like, oh yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings. Favorite restaurant, by the way. I am a savage, keep that in mind. But it's like, oh, I didn't know buffaloes had wings. Yeah, just a field of buffaloes. Oh god, more fuel. I think it's a suitcase, but like it can burn. I'm kind of terrified about how much fuel I've left behind, because like I was sitting here talking about like, oh hey, like honestly, I've never seen like a buffalo IRL. Like even in a zoo. Like, but every time like I find like a game or something, they make it out like it's such a like common occurrence. Like you should just see, you know, I should be able to walk out into my backyard and see like a buffalo. But I haven't seen one in like a zoo. I haven't seen one anywhere. You know, we have a winch. Can we like go out, fucking round up a buffalo and just like drag it behind the thing in case we need food? Hey, okay. I beg to differ, okay? Have you ever seen a zebra in a zoo? Okay, the thing is sleeping. Okay, have you ever seen, well, I mean, not with your own eyes, but like, I mean, can you imagine a zebra out in the wild? Okay, there's a reason why, like, you know, you never see, like, a picture of a zebra sleeping. Because, like, if a zebra is allowed to sleep, like, it's safe. Like, the wild is crazy. And, like, have you ever seen, like, a lion take down a zebra? Okay, and you're gonna say that a zoo is barbaric? No, like, 100%, like... Mind you, I feel like I do have, like, sort of the, Oh no, I've seen, well, I mean, I guess they could have like spray painted a horse or something like that, but nah, like they're just a really cool looking horse. But like, I don't know, like why would they evolve? It's kind of like the same question I have about, say, like chickens and T-Rexes, right? So like the big running theory is that, you know, chickens evolved from T-Rexes to be more survivable. And I've always had sort of that big brain, like, oh yeah, like that's because it learned to live with us, and like if it remained a T-Rex, it would pose a danger, so we would just kill it off. So it instead ended up evolving into a chicken that was useful to us because that way it could survive. I think a lot of people like kind of miss that kind of mentality when it comes to like the survival of something. Is like, not only like if you have something that is widely like taken over, like humanity, sometimes the way to survive is you have to like become useful to whatever dominant species there is. I mean, if we got taken over by aliens, like we would kind of have to be useful to said aliens. 100%. Like, okay, what are we rolling up to? Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, all of this at one point was underwater. So, like, why do we? And like this is clearly this is not something you like just put together in like a day. Like it is shabby. It is like kind of rough, but like it would take way more than a day to build this. I wonder, like, we have buffaloes, but I haven't seen a single chicken. I haven't heard a rooster caw or anything like that. Okay, see, so like we had like our normal modern day like technology, and then we went to steampunk. So like it's like a step down, like in technology. I can hear the radio going. Okay, you don't know that. You don't know that, Archer. If there's an alien race and they want to come do whatever they're going to do with us, like you do not know that they could span like 4 or 5 like planets that are 5 times the size of Earth. If you ever get into like theoretical science and everything like that, as far as space, like Drake's equation, that kind of stuff, we don't even like register on the scale as far as like what we are as a society. Like we are still at nothing. Okay, that controls that up there. But like look, like this is all like we just took an elevator up. So like this is like this is on stilts. And you can't build this in a day. It's intriguing to me, like trying to think of like, okay, because most end of the world scenarios, it's like something happens and like you're fighting against that. This feels more like, as far as what this is portraying, something has already happened and you've been here for a while. Like clearly, you made this whole freaking contraption, and like, there's a question actually. Like, right now we're adding like a piece to our contraption here, but like, why is it so like? Why can you attach everything? You know, it's like you know, you don't have the same like recharge cord for say like an Apple phone and an Android phone. Like, you know, a lot of devices are interchangeable like that. Like, why is this all so interchangeable? Why is there just this thing that we can add to it so easily? Have we made it? You know, honest to God, I don't think people realize... Just a small bump. I don't think people realize, like, how much power we would have as, like, a group. Like, if, I don't know, an entire state or 2 states worth of people went to Area 51 and were, like, demanding answers and everything like that, you really think, like, they would shoot everybody? I would say no. Like, I think, you know, I feel like there's something to be said that, we have definitely lost power as individuals and as people. Wait, hold on. 20-sided die? No, wait. Where? 20-sided die. Oh, are you talking about inside the, Oh, no, you're talking about inside the place. No, that's a ball. I'm pretty sure that's a ball because I wanted entertainment. But what happened to my ball? I didn't burn the ball, did I? Hold on. Yeah, that's my ball. See, it even bounces. Yeah, see, like, the books don't... Yeah. The ball bounces, though. Books don't bounce. Let's go find out. But no. Very round, sir. It's more round than freaking other stuff. And it does actually roll. It's hexagonal. You can still get it to go down a steep enough hill. Dude, are you guys hearing this music, though? Like, it's definitely not the old elevator music. So, like, there would... I mean, it could be a... Yeah, I mean, is this a playlist, or is this a, I mean, it could be a playlist just set to loop type of deal. Or what if there's somebody out there that's, like, actually, like, just playing music? What if we aren't the, like, only ones here? 20-sided ball. Okay, we still don't know if it's, yeah, different station, true. But, I mean, how long has this been playing? Like, clearly, like, we haven't run into another soul. Okay, there's not another soul, there's nobody around. There's clearly evidence that, like, people could have been around. You know what would have been cool? Well, I don't know, it might have made the game a little convoluted. Is, like, if you picked these up and it gave you, like, a little bit of, like, information. But I also feel like that would take away from, like, this guesswork. Like, I think, really... Yeah, well, maybe we're, like, maybe we get into, like, a Sixth Sense kind of thing, where it's like, oh, we're all ghosts! Or actually, like, everybody else is alive, and we're the only ones that are dead. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. But nah, I would like to, like, I think you could actually make, like, a lot of media off of a game like this, of just, like, trying to, like, sell, like, what you think happened. Another, you know, funny thing I've noticed, I don't use the sales. I think I need to start focusing on that. Is because we're actually dead. Well, I mean, we see red, and, like, look up there. Like, that's green, right? That's green up there. And we already said blue, so I don't think it's that. There was a movie out there, very low-key, that had to do with, pretty much Limbo, and it was pretty much the same world that you live in now. It's just, it's like a little bit worse. Like, it's just a little bit worse, and, like, you can't smile. And those were the only two differences, as far as, Limbo or, Purgatory, if you get, you know, my meaning of Limbo. But no, like, I mean, we are seeing all the colors. Like, I think it's just, you know, the art style is kind of giving credence to, like, this very bleak, like, things aren't the greatest here. You know, and you've got, like, this entire town, but there's nobody outside. Like, I feel like, as a developer, if you wanted, you know, to be like, oh, hey, like, yeah, like, there's definitely people here, or, like, there's no people here, like, this is the part where you do that. You know, you would have, like, signs, I'm about to blow past fuel! And look, there's another bike over there, by the way. So, like, okay, mopeds are, clearly are making a comeback. You know, things like this make me feel so old. Because, like, one of the things that, like, was still at my grandparents' house, actually, was, a spree. If you guys don't know what a spree is, it's, like, literally the first iteration of, like, a motorized scooter that there ever was. You did actually have to have a license and everything. That's how my ma got, like, to and from places, was, like, the spree. Let's see. Yeah, true. Actually, something okay, look. Signs. Workshop, shelter. Okay, so let me get back to that comment here in a second, but workshop and shelter. So we're heading toward the shelter, and we don't know what's toward us, 2D, but like the workshop. So somebody made the thing that we put on the back. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. I didn't even play with this. Like, it's literally a vacuum. That's the perfect size for this particular vehicle. And it works perfectly. And it hooks into the systems. There's clearly, like, it clearly takes power and everything like that. How? Like, do a lot of people have these trains? Like, is this just like what we do now? Is we roll around on trains that burn literally everything? Like, is this just, like, where we've come to as a society, is where, like, literally, like, fuel is so scarce, we've literally developed a way to burn literally almost everything. Oh, wow, I just got an achievement. Oh, God, okay, I've got the... That's not what I want. Okay, so burn almost everything. So apparently, burning actual fuel is a bad idea. But... So, like, everybody has the same type of vehicle, it's just, like... I mean, everything's possible, you know, that's the, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the cop-out, though, is like everything's possible. Like, yeah, everybody has their own train. Just like, are you crazy? What do you mean? Everybody's got a train. Where's your train? You don't got a train? Oh, you're weird. I don't know. Like, maybe that's a possibility, is like everybody has a vehicle like this. But, like, in that case, why did we have a whole schematic, like, you know, at the very beginning of the game of this thing? You know, that led to, like, oh yeah, like, you know, we must have built this thing, you know, but I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, if you're really into motorcycles, you could have, like, a diagram of a motorcycle or a car engine or something like that. But, I don't know, maybe. It's within the realm of possibilities, I suppose. But then again, what isn't in the realm of possibilities? Might be a better question when you, like, make stretches, like, certain stretches. Not saying that that is a stretch. Maybe a little. But, you get what I'm saying, though. I hope. Or is this just my brain playing tricks on me? Okay, so as far as, like, the feeling of the game, I mean, everything is dilapidated in, like, you know, yeah, that sense of dread of being alone. I do kind of feel that, too. I do feel like this game is definitely, like, portraying that, is, like, you are alone. Like, a lot of this stuff, you know, you don't see any sign of anybody being there, and I mean, it could be where it's like, oh yeah, like 100%, like, you know, they're just so used to, like, these trains coming through that nobody's even going to leave their house, and they're actually still inside just sitting on their cell phones, you know, and it's just like, oh, just another train, that's our neighbor, hey Bob. But I don't know, like, now we're getting into grass and everything, and we were just going up, you know, truck and a trailer. That is a very old, like, that's a classic truck, it's not, like, as far as, like, that model. Like, I know there's certain ones that have, like, the wooden beds and everything like that, but I mean, as far as, like, I'm pretty sure we have that in our own history. Our trucks like that. You know what? I'm running out of fuel really bad. I am terrified of how much fuel I'm actually leaving behind, so we're gonna go ahead because, based on the flag, we have wind. We're gonna use the wind. Because I'm starting to get nervous that we're going to run out of fuel, and that's going to be real, real bad. And I do have the vacuum thing going, so, like, we should be picking up anything we actually run over. But, no, like, I mean, do you see that car on the roof? Do you think that's just a fashion statement, or, do you feel like that's something that's just simply not supposed to be there? Okay, see, like, how far have we traveled? Right, so we're getting into 3,300, no, 4,400. So we've only gone about 1,000 meters. Which that ain't, maybe 1,000 miles. I don't know. Meters ain't that far. It's gotta be miles. Right, as far as the unit of measurement. Because we've gone pretty, I feel like we've gone pretty far in a very short amount of time, though. Oh, Jesus fucking... Okay, so I talk about, like, yeah, oh yeah, they made everything universal and everything, but clearly not the roofs. Well, I mean, maybe not for the sails. Then again, maybe, like, you're supposed to have, like, some bucking help. Oh. Oh, are you still on about the aliens? Wings. Broke the wings. Okay, it's a sail. And, like, we've got some... Need a... What's that? That's a plant. Okay, so it's not too much of a spoiler, but, The other game has a plant. There is a sequel to this game out, by the way. And, there's actually a plant there that has some kind of, like, meaning. So I think it's kind of cool that, like, there's a plant here, too. Or a solar sail. And do you know the time period for this game? No, and the game is called Lone Sail, so, you know, pardon me. You know, see, and that's kind of the funny thing, too, is like, you know, it's all about, like, oh, hey, yep. I think I forgot to apply the parking brake. Come on. Well, that's a problem. I hope that wasn't my train. Okay. Oh yeah, 100%. Until they're not. Like, I wonder what out of nature we found was like, I don't know, messing with a phone, for instance. Why didn't we design, like, a phone to, you know, mimic something we find in nature? Oh, shit. Okay, speaking of nature, that's not good. Well, I mean, we made a hamster wheel, yes, to go ahead and make it so you were forced to do that. I think there was some, like, technical design flaws there, because you had to turn a gear a certain way, so you kind of locked yourself up there. Or maybe it was just fucked up. You know, like, literally, like, whatever it was designed to do isn't the thing. Okay, yeah, I don't feel comfortable going out, given that there's a tornado. But we just need to get the hell out of here. Please. Come on. You can do it. The ball rolling around. You know, for it not being too round, it might just... What's going on? Why am I not moving? Okay, I think I need the wind. Come on, come on. Wind, help. Go. Wait, why didn't it work? Oh, I have to hold it in. I forgot I have to hold it in. And the engine's running the whole time, like, just burning fuel. There we go, okay. Well, thank God. Well, I mean, I think... Well, that's why I think, like, you know, it's not like a case where, like, we're some kind of, like, alien creature. Like, obviously, I feel like we're at least, like, a certain size. But it's, like, sort of a chicken or the egg kind of scenario is... Did all of this, like, what they built this all before, like... I built the train, for instance. Or did I build the train after they built everything else? So did I tailor-make the train for everything they built, like mimicking something else? Or did they build everything knowing that, like, a train would be rolling through it at some point? Or hell, maybe I've made this trip multiple freaking times, you know? That's something else I was considering, too, at one point, was like, what if, you know, just humor me. What if I've been, like, trying to just go as far as possible in each and every time? Like, I've just run into certain issues, so, like, I come back and, like, you know, like all the houses and everything, what if? Or, like, it doesn't even have to be just me, you know? What if, like, all the houses, like, what if one point, like, everybody was trying to, like, get to somewhere else? Or what if, you know, we were all building all of this stuff, like the workshop and everything like that, and, like, just slowly, like, the populations died off and died off and died off, and suddenly we're the only ones. Like, what if we are, like, the last ones left, and the whole reason why all this technology, oh god. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm sorry, I just found that we have a second chair. We have 2 chairs. Speaking of technology, we've come really far. We doubled our quota as far as chairs. Oh, and I'm running into a damn wall. Come so far as a society. I forgot how walls work, but like we have 2 chairs. Well, see, that's what I'm saying is like I feel like what has happened here, okay, is that it is post-apocalyptic. Like it is. So I'm trying to get up onto this freaking ledge. I'm pretty sure that's where I have to go. And there we go. Okay, there we go. Crisis averted. But I feel like what has happened here is that's where this part right here, like, and similar, is where I'm like, okay, like, did we make this trip before? Because how would you go back? Like, if we got here before, why would we turn around and, like, close these doors? We couldn't have. Like, there's no way we could have made this trip before. Unless there was a different path. Because, I mean, we knocked a propeller out of the way. That would mean that a propeller would have had to have been moved in the way after a previous trip. Or, like, this section. We just broke the shit out of that, out of this submarine. So, like, I don't think it's going to be very likely that we, like, are coming back. Yeah, I don't think we're coming back. So I'm pretty sure, actually, that kinda... I think maybe the transportation is, like, mainstream. Like, a lot of people actually, like, found that this was the way to, like, get around. And that this was, like, the most effective way. I mean, you can turn anything into fuel to run this thing. Kind of like ethanol and everything like that, so, like, any plant could go ahead and be used as fuel. So, like, what if we did that, like, come steampunk in post-apocalyptic, is, like, somehow, like, an engine really isn't the most, like, complicated thing in the damn world. You need a fuel source, it moves stuff, But you make it where, essentially, and I mean, it's steam, really. Actually, yeah, it is steam. Like, this is all steam-powered. Well, we just broke something. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, we just broke something. But, that's not good. Let's, stop everything. Oh, current economy. Well, if you want to get into, like, I wouldn't say creepypastas, but, like, sort of, like, actual truths when it comes to history, Nikola Tesla actually had a way to pull electricity clean out of the air. And, when the electric companies found out that he wanted to give this, technology to the people for free, they, that is right around the time where he mysteriously died. So, just crazy to think about, if you do find something that could, save the world. Or insulin, for instance. The person who discovered insulin, which is, the life-saving thing for people with diabetes, he sold the rights to it to a college because he wanted there to be a way for people to go ahead and create this stuff for free. It was never supposed to be something you paid for. Well, Big Pharma offered the college that they sold it to enough money that they said, yeah, you know what? We'll go ahead and sell it to you. So now, you have to pay for insulin. You were never supposed to. And it is a widely known fact, too. And a lot of things, actually, like, I don't know. There's a lot of evil, I'd say, done on each other, especially on the global scale when you take off your rose-colored glasses. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, um, I'm pretty sure that's where like mass media kind of helped people. Because like, imagine if, say, when it came to the internet, like, what if they just took Bill Gates and just fucking whistled, just like, oh yeah, like, we're not letting you offer that free to people. And hell, look at what it's become now. I mean, you can't. Everything's ads. Everything's trying to sell you something. You know, like nothing's sacred anymore. You have to pay to not deal with ads. I think it's the most backwards thing, kind of in the world at this point. It's just how completely dead set. I gotta actually take the switch off. But no, I feel like if there was, oh yeah, like, I mean, big saying, you know, money is what makes the world go round. Sad but true, you know. If you have money, you have less problems. Usually if you have problems, it has something to do with money. Or something that money can go ahead and fix. Really sad. I really wish there was, a different way of being. You know, I wish there was, for sure, a way to kind of survive without having to, like, make money that didn't make you a complete, like, invalid, you know? It's like living without the internet nowadays. Is like, you know, how could you do that? I mean, I don't have a very, well, I mean, some of the most miserable fucking people you'll ever run into are the people with the most money in the world. Have you ever realized that one? It's just like, you know, I think maybe there's a correlation between that. The more money you have, the more miserable of a human being you are. That's why I really don't mind being poor in a lot of cases. Lower middle class, not poor. I'll give myself a little bit of credit. But I feel like definitely money is a bad thing. In fact, if you want a conspiracy theory of mine, I feel like, you know, the ones with money know that, like, all of our infrastructure is collapsing and everything is going to hell, but like the only way to save it is for them to give up their massive amounts of money. See, I feel like, yeah, like, if you want to listen to all the self-help things and everything like that, yes, like, money cannot buy happiness. But you know what money can buy? It can buy internet. Which, if you didn't have access to internet, you couldn't watch anime, you couldn't watch a show. Do you think you're really gonna go out into the middle of the woods somewhere and chop down trees enough to build yourself a log cabin so you can live? I'm pretty sure not having to do so might make you kind of happy. I think you'd have to, like, at least YouTube how to build a freaking log cabin anyway. I don't think you would just go out and trial and error that stuff. You know, I couldn't. I think you could give it your best shot, but I don't think you would, I don't think it's something that is, it would last very long nowadays. And even then, even if you did manage to go out to the middle of nowhere where, you know, they couldn't find, you know, where you could, like, build something like that, where we don't have some kind of infrastructure already built. You know, okay, you build your log cabin, you make it sustainable. Actually happen, believe it or not. Yeah. Tax collector comes out and says, oh, well, now that you turn this into something good, we're gonna tax you for it. So, even if you do find a way to survive out there, it's like, what's the point? Because you're gonna have to find a way to make money anyway, because now here they come to tax you for it. You hear that? The radio? What is that? Is it just static, or is there something being said? Who's there? See, that's why I wanted to play through this again. Because, like, somebody clearly said, at least to me, they clearly said, who's there? Or what if that's your voice? Okay, that's giggling. I don't think that's... Ha! The fucking spirit box through, like, an old-timey, like, radio. I could see that. That's actually... That's actually a really cool, idea. like we're talking to ghosts here. Like phasmophobia vibes. Well, yeah, but that's if, like, the radio is, like, actively skipping through, like, multiple stations very, very quickly is typically how those work. And we're stuck on the same station, so it's, like, I don't know, based on how, like, spirit boxes typically work and everything, I don't know if that would be... I mean, who says it has to work that way, though? Maybe the ghosts have gotten good at communicating. Why are there so many baby carriages? Sorry. ADHD. My brain. But, and there's a ship again. Carriage, crib, same thing. Actually, a crib is like the freestanding one. A carriage is the one with wheels. To my knowledge, anyway. Or at least that's the differentiating thing. But, like, are you seeing that's, like... That is a ship in the background. Another really large ship. Or at least smokestacks. Or no, it could be a factory. But it looks like a ship hull. Or maybe I've just seen so many ships I just think that it's a... Okay, no, that's a factory. Okay, so we are off the lake bed now. We've got broken pipelines, everything like that. And that's something cool too that I think you kind of need answered if you're going to get any kind of like legitimate story that's not your own like creation. Is what technology was already here? Like, is this based on our modern day, or is this based on a steampunk universe? Like, has it always been steampunk stuff? I think that's part of the charm of the game. Is well, I mean, I'd rather not smash my face into the button, but sure. But you get what I'm saying, though, right? Build your future. Okay, it's like a walker. That's like an ATST. Or AT-AT thing. All terrain. Everybody was your height. But why would they make it where... Well, I mean, I guess you could reach up, but, like, it's also a pretty big freaking button. It's a very large button. But... Now, I feel like... part of the charm is, like, creating your own universe around this and letting, like, the environment kind of change and shape it for, like, what new stuff you find to go ahead and develop. Hold on, the voices. You're hearing that too, right? That's not just, you know, my voices. I feel like it's based on where the camera is and not where. Okay, so it's not somebody actually like talking to us. It's like a radio show program. See, what did it just say? Like, I wish... There's no dialogue in the game, so it's like, oh, I wish there was like subtitles so that there would be literally nothing except for that one point. I don't know, well, when it comes to like complete isolation, they find that you will do a lot of really strange stuff to try to like give yourself the sense that you are not completely alone. What if it's like a psychological thing? Like, what if there's actually like there was never any music, there was never anything, and like this is all in your character's head. Like, literally, there's not voices going on right now. It's literally just like a psychological... Yeah, well, what if this entire adventure is like, I don't know, what if you're like in a coma or something and all of this is just going on in your head? Oh, honey! woke up, I was on a train, but it wasn't a normal train. And everybody was dead. Or at least I think they were dead. There was nobody there. Yes, that is true. I mean, I could tell you about, like, the architecture of, like, if this was in your head, about, like, coming through and, like, destroying everything with wanton, like, no care whatsoever. And, like, maybe you're destroying your own mind. But even then, one of my favorite sayings is, I think it was, one of the... a book I read, but like, of course it's all happening in your head, but why does that make it any less real, you know? But I do feel like, as far as what I have gathered so far, I feel like there is like the psychological aspect of, you have to take into account you probably have been alone for a very long time. I kind of feel like the city and everything like that, I think you are the last of like your little population. Like, I think maybe an end-of-the-world scenario did kind of happen, and you sustained for a really long time, but, like, it was like an Easter Island type of deal, where, like, resources eventually ran out, and, Jesus Christ. Yeah, the resources did eventually, like, run out, and, like, because if this were modern day, I mean, you think somebody would have, like, the engineering skills to, like, put something like this together. No, I think this is, like, this has been happening, like, for generations. So, you know, this is, you know, as far as the technology, like, the steampunk era stuff kind of was developed over a very long period of time. So, like, that's why, like, oh, hey, like, I know to, you know, I know how this fire hose works. I know how the repair tool works. You know, like, you know engineering. It's because you probably had to live, like, with this technology just in your everyday life. Like, this is how you survived. And just eventually, like, the town came together and they were just like, okay, yeah, we need to find something else. Like, this is not sustainable anymore. And, like, we clearly have radios, right? So, I mean, if we have radios and everything, we have any kind of, like, knowledge about how radios work and frequencies and everything like that, then we should have been able to communicate. We clearly had music still. Like, I don't think that kind of stuff would last forever. Like, I mean, even when you think about hamster wheel, but even when you think about, say, like, satellites in space, like, you put them out there, it's not like you can just leave them alone. Like, they will eventually, like, there is no perfect orbit. Like, they will eventually crash down. So if this has been going on for generations, those satellites and everything, like, it don't work like that, you know? And, like, servers eventually break down. Now, like, could a server last 200, 300, 400 years? Who knows? I enjoy it too, you know, the little hamster wheels. Reminds me of like ancient civilizations when that's how they actually like got these stones and whatnot for their castle walls, is they had people on running wheels like for the crane to get the stones that high. But I think what happened was, like, a lot of this technology was built just for like survivalist stuff, and you as a character, like, you know, when this is like the only thing you have to do, the only thing to work on, it's kind of like blacksmithing back in, like, you know, those days, is like, that's like the top of the line, like, stuff you can really get. Like, you know, there's very few professions a lot of people get into the same profession, you know. Why everybody's moving, I feel, into like the information age. Like, you know, we're going to end up, like, every profession is going to be computers, and there's no avoiding that, as long as we keep moving forward in that direction anyway. But in this case, it did turn into the steampunk thing. Like, you didn't have, like, we have lanterns and everything like that, and lights and everything, so, like, steam power, though, like, you know, I mean, a lot of power, though, is steam power. Like, solar power, for instance, like, all of that heat built up by solar is literally heating water and turning it to steam. It's literally just, like, pseudo-steam power, in a way. If you're ever curious, like, go ahead and look up how, like, a solar field works. Typically, you've got, like, a panel, and then that leads to, like, pipelines. But those, they lead to pipelines, and those pipelines lead to usually something that is, No, so it has something that pretty much takes on heat. It's very conductive when it comes to heat. And inside, so from the solar panel itself, it leads to tubes and pipes and everything like that, which then leads to oil. Usually it's oil. It's something that can like take on heat and it doesn't lose heat very quickly. So something like oil, and then that heat is transferred to say like a water tank to heat it up, turning it to steam, which then turns a turbine. So it's all weird. So like that's what like this whole contraption I feel is kind of playing off as far as that technology is. It's all steam powered. But like when you think of like power, you got to think I mean your basic granaries, for instance. That's all you know, as far as power, like yes, is it wind power? Is it water powered? Yes, like that is the thing that's turning it. I think we see power as only electricity. So I want to be very clear. Like I'm talking about the generation of electricity. Oh, I love this part. Okay, so we've been going around on that broken wheel for a long time. Like it's time we fix that. But this is also where I kind of get the like the sense that like that radio is a big part of it. Like this would not be possible like unless people knew to build something to these exact specs. Like I feel like they kind of like missed something. Like I mean there was that whole factory, but like they could have like a little shack that had like the same schematic, the same blueprint and everything like that. That way it's kind of like they had to collaborate a bit, you know. Because like how else would this be fucking possible? Like a machine made specifically to take these wheels off and replace them with new wheels. Like how would they know the measurements? Like, are you telling me that we rolled up on this place and it just so happens they had a set of wheels already loaded up? I feel like something happened. Or like maybe this was like a world like endeavor. You know, like a lot of people got behind this idea of trying to do whatever it is we are trying to do, and they all work together, they all build like little pieces and everything like that to help out with this like whole endeavor. And the reason that we're not running into anybody is because it was like, hey, we have one shot at this, so like everything has to be perfect, and just nobody wanted to, I guess, hit the start button. And until finally like you were literally like alone, because actually on that hill, like what if that was a grave? What about that? Like what if that was a grave? Like what if that was like your father and he had actually died and you're just, I mean, why else would he be on the fucking hill with a picture of him? Like I think that was a fucking funeral. I think that was a funeral and he died and like you were the last one left. And he was like the mastermind behind this, but he taught you how to run all of this. And the point was you were trying to reach another group of people. But he ended up dying. So now you're kind of alone, and like that's why we're doing all this, is like we need to get to this other group of people, otherwise we're dead too. And like we realize that, like, you know, we don't want to go, that was our home, you know, like that's why like the whole like beginning segment is like, you know, you bury him in the backyard type deal, like you know you're leaving. And it's just like you're saying your final goodbye. Or it could be that he died like a while ago and you were just visiting his grave, you know, and it's just like, you know, hey dad, like, I'm leaving, you know, like there's nothing for me here. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you goodbye. I could see that. Like, I'm sentimental like that. That's shit I would do. And like he would know, like your dad would know. Carry on the flame survival. Well, I don't think he died on the way, because like you had a whole like building and there were pictures of him. So that's why I don't think it was like on a way. I think he was in the middle of building this. And like you finished his work. And like, yeah, we don't want to be alone, and I'm missing all that fuel stuff. See, now we're running through like everything so far. You know, I know I haven't been commenting on it, but everything so far has been just desolate, broken, burnt, like... No, I feel like it was, like, it is an end-of-the-world scenario, and, I feel like we actually did find a way. Yeah. Kinda, sorta. You know, I can kinda see this in my own, like, situation here, and I'll get to that here in a second, but, I do feel that we got another ball. I think that's a ball. Does it bounce? It does not bounce. That is not our ball. Wait, what happened to our ball? I think we lost our ball. But, you know, everything, I feel like the world is like this desolate thing. This guy, like, created this train and everything, and the point was to get us somewhere. But he passed away before it was actually operational. Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost your ball. I mean, it might have fucking flew out of the front of the train when we crashed, because we've been hitting shit at, like, Mach 10. So, that is definitely something that might have happened. What is that? That feels like there's something in the way there. No, we're good. I feel like he couldn't, like, he did not live to see, like, his stuff actually, like, come to fruition. And I think him building all of this stuff up, you know, we are really, like, continuing his work. And I think the beginning of the game is us pretty much, like, our bag is already packed. Remember, like, there's that suitcase at the very beginning. So our bag is already packed. So we know we're leaving. And it's probably, like, you know, he probably was important to us, so we probably were saying our last goodbye. And it's just kind of like, yeah, like, you know, it's okay, like, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna be fine, you know. And as far as, you know, as far as holding us back, you know, I don't know, I feel like, I mean, maybe he made this whole thing just for us to survive, but I feel like the intention was that, like, he was supposed to come with us, and certain parts weren't here. I don't know if there was a radio in the actual house. I feel like he was probably communicating with people because everything is built to a similar, like, size and scale. That's why we have all these add-ons and everything like that. So I feel like that's sort of how, like, the building of this thing kind of happened. And, I'm gonna put the ball there. Or screw, whatever it is. It don't bounce, so I don't know if it's a ball. But, yeah, and I think he died. We said our final goodbyes, and that's why every time we run into one of these workshops or factories or everything, it's like more homesteads that, essentially, we kept running into these homesteads, and it turned into, essentially, we realized, like, yeah, like, we are alone, and there's nothing we can really, like, do anymore, and if I stay here, like, I'm gonna die. So, yeah, I'm gonna go, and maybe we used the radio to, like, make sure everything was in place, but we were still kind of, like, yeah, we've got wind. We're good. We've got wind. But maybe we used that radio, and it was like, okay, like, we knew all of these things were in place, and, like, everybody, like, imagine if, like, everybody else were, like, you know, like, really nervous, like, this is our last-ditch effort, so, like, nobody wants to do it, and slowly, like, the number of voices on this frequency, like, less and less and less and less and less. And it could play into the psychological thing, where it's like we're hearing voices on the radio because, like, we just want to know that there's somebody else out there. Like, this is, like, our final ditch effort. We don't even know if anybody else is still alive. And, like, we're just hoping. Like, hoping beyond hope that, like, yeah, like, we're leaving everything we know behind, and just, like, if there's nothing out there, we're just fucked, you know? Oh yeah, like 100%. And like, I can attest to that one too. Like, just to be in that situation of, you know, because this can happen to people. Like, it does actually happen to people. Where, like, maybe not to such an extreme where, like, the world is gone, but, yeah, like, you want to hope for the best, but at the same time, I think it's like calculated risk almost. You know, like, we know full well that, like, going through, like, we could very easily die. But it's just kind of like, well, hell, if the outcome of everything is we're gonna die anyway, does anything we do actually matter? I mean, maybe that's the more pessimistic view, you know, is like, oh yeah, like, you know, maybe, you know, maybe something that's beautiful about, like, life right now is the fact that, like, we really are, like, individuals that, like, nobody knows who we are. Like, we are absolutely nothing. So, like, nothing we do actually matters. Like, imagine the stress of being somebody who, like, every move you make fucking matters because you have, like, lives in your hands. In a way, yes. I mean, if it were me, I would rather be in a setting like this, though. And maybe this is my overactive imagination coming through, but, like, I don't know, I feel like there's too many options right now, and just too many, like, people, and, like, I don't know, I would much rather, like, make a really, like, I don't like the fact that, like, my success or failure is on such a long timeline. Like, I want to do something in the next, like, couple of days and see, I wouldn't say instant gratification, but I would say, like, I want to know whether, like, I'm going to be okay at that point, you know? The course I'm taking, like, honest to God, I don't want to sit here and spend fucking months taking this course, just, you know, on the question of, hey, maybe I have a job, maybe I don't. You know, I want to, shit, I'm gonna lose all this fuel. But, like, I want to know, like, before I go into a course and pay people a lot of money, that, like, what I want out of the course, which is, you know, a career and a livelihood and everything, I want to know that those things are already there. Or at the very least, like, if I fail, then that's it for me. Like, I don't want to go through, like, the, sense of, like, oh yeah, like, you know, I get to go ahead and now suffer because I've put so many resources into completing this course, and, it didn't turn into anything that actually helped me. So it didn't lead to that better life that I was doing the course for, that kind of stuff, you know. I would rather have it be very quick, you know. It's like, oh, yep, this is where I die, and then it's over. Not this, like, slow freaking, like, decay of, like, oh, cool, now I have no money, and now I have no food, and now, you know, I'm just homeless, and now nobody cares what happens to me, and it just slowly just, like, deteriorates over time, you know. I would rather be more like, you know, kind of like in a sword fight, you know. I don't want to sit there and be bled to death, okay? I want him to just chop my head off if I, like, did something wrong. Yeah, 100%, Archer. Like, I think everybody has that same freaking mentality, but, you know, it's just the unfortunate, like, thing about how, like, my mind works and operates is, like, when I don't have, like, that sign that, like, okay, it's working out and I'm doing good and, like, it's okay. Let's see, okay, I can come through there. There's absolutely nothing there. But the wind is going, see that? The wind is going the opposite direction. So that means we can do this. But, yeah, I don't think anybody wants to invest time into things that they're unsure of. I think that, like, kind of doing a calculated risk in, like, you know, jumping off into, like, deep water and everything is, like, you know, yeah, that can be exhilarating, it can be fun and everything like that, but I think when it comes to our survival, we want things to be, like, we want to know that if we do something and we work really hard at something, that, like, we are going to have a benefit. And actually, there are scientific studies that, like, that's why gaming has become, like, so prevalent, is, yeah, people, you know, would rather sit and play a video game because they know, like, hey, if I perform this particular action, I have this particular beneficial outcome. That's why you have people that can't seem to, like, focus on something for, like, more than a couple hours, but in a game, oh yeah, they can sit there on that game for, you know, 2-3 days straight in a row, like, doing the same mindless task, just trying to get, like, an achievement or something like that, because they know. that's the end game. You know, they'll get good at a certain point, and they will hit that mark. Whereas, you know, say you invest in a stock market or something like that, you know, like, yes, it takes time. Yes, you have to watch it. Yes, it takes a little know-how. Do I have to, like, fucking Mach 10 this damn thing? I think I have to hit the steam. Because I am ramming this thing, and it's just like... Okay, maybe I'm just being really dumb. We're gonna let this roll back a little bit. This is not, not rolling back. Hold on. There's no place to attach the winch. We definitely have to go ahead and get through that. I think I'm not letting it roll back. But no, like, that is, yeah, I can go ahead. Come on, roll back. Okay, well, I wait for this roll back, but I think that's kind of, like, a big thing when it comes to us gamers, is, like, we really get into that mindset of, like, yeah, like, I know that if I do this, I will get this, you know? World of Warcraft, if I beat this boss so many times, there's a percentage chance that this thing is going to drop that I really want. And I know at some point it's going to drop. I just have to keep doing it. We don't have that in real life. And, like, that's where I feel like when you get really, like, deep into, like, you know, breaking down somebody's psyche and everything like that, these are the kind of things that, like, you kind of have to look at, you know? And I think we kind of forget that too. It's like you've got a lot of people who kind of grew up in days and ages where, like, yeah, like, you know, that's how life always was, you know. It's like, oh, well, there is never a guarantee that you ever get anything out of anything, you know. But I think intrinsically, like, as far as, like, overall, every single one of us, I didn't even hit it, and it just, like, okay, that's fine. But no, I think that, yeah, we need to start getting into the day and age where, like, the efforts we put into things need to matter. Because there's too much right now. There is too much with everything. There are too many people, like, doing the same things. There is not enough, like, profession, you know, like, professional stuff to get into where it's, like, you know, like, right now, IT is a big thing. Okay, 4 years from now, so... Oh, yep, here we go, the, that's not good. Okay, I'm gonna need to focus on this. Let's go ahead and get... Okay, but the information age, you know, everything's gonna be about computers and everything like that. But who's to say in 4 years, like, everybody, like, and their uncle decides, oh yeah, I'm gonna go for computers too. You know, so now there's no spaces. So you just spent 4 years working on an IT degree that you can't even get any use out of. Except for essentially being told, oh, well, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. You know, like, is that what you want your life to be, though? Like, I don't, you know, I don't want to be told, like, oh yeah, just keep at it, like, something good will eventually happen. Like, no, like, if I'm gonna make the effort and I'm gonna put forth the effort, like, it's a boat. Entertaining. But I just feel like there's too much nowadays. I feel like, honestly, if you wanted to fix that problem, it would take something akin to, like, say the education system. Before you go through and get a degree in something, I feel like the position should be there. Like, I think a business should take and pay for, you know, they should decide, like, hey, like, are we willing to take a chance on this individual? And then they hire you, and you sign a contract to say, okay, like, I'll go to school for this thing that you need. That way, you're not, you know, we're not having people throw away their entire futures on, you know, terrible, like, college stuff, you know, as far as, like, you know, philosophy. You're not gonna be able to make a living off philosophy, for the most part. Why would you allow somebody to, like, put their entire life, like, at risk for that? That kind of stuff. You know, I mean, obviously, if I would have learned some steampunk stuff, I might be better off in this game. We're gonna continue on. But this is another part where I was explaining before about, like, it being the end of the world. I don't know if you would consider this acid rain, because shit is on fire. Like, bad on fire. Like, this is not a good situation. Like, is this, like, solids that are coming down? Like, I mean, it's not hurting us as a person, it's damaging, like, the electronics. Okay, we're just gonna keep going and try to get out of this as quickly as possible. Oh yeah, life is always gonna be complicated. It's never not going to be complicated, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's, my entire point. Yeah, the machine definitely cannot stand this. Everything is on fire. Everything is fucking terrible right now. As you put it, life is really complicated right now, in and out of game. But what kind of weather does that, though? Like, see, this is where I get into, like, there's something different happening. Because, like, yes, we know acid rain would break down stuff, but, like, we have cover. So it's only damaging, like, working electronics. I wouldn't even say these are electronics. Like, this is all steam powered. What kind of, like... We're gonna repair this stuff real quick. Let's see. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know. I really wish that it was possible to, like, have things not be so complicated. Like, it's where I run into problems a lot, is, like, usually things are not at all as complicated as I, like, see them as. But, like, some people, that's how their minds work. Especially when, you know, a lot of your upbringing is, like, shit was a lot more complicated than what it needed to be. You know, you get stuck in that. And it's really hard to make any move forward because you're so, like, worried about, you know, well, what's going to happen? Because there were times that, like, hey, you know, I thought at certain points I had everything figured out, man. Like, 100%. Like, I just had to keep doing what I was doing and everything would have been golden. And, yeah, it don't turn out that way sometimes. I wish it did, for sure. Alright, but we are continuing on with this adventure. The rain has stopped. Is that a movie quote? The rain, it stopped. Oh, it's the arrows. The arrows. Oh yeah, 100%, and, like, I mean, that's the whole reason behind this. Stop thinking about it. For just a minute. You get trapped inside your own head for too long, escape sometimes becomes impossible, so this is to help everybody kind of escape. You know, like, for instance, I don't have to worry in this moment in time about what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't have to worry about it being midnight and what I have to do tomorrow. It probably would be responsible for me to do so, but, no, I'm worried about what's going on in the game. You know, this is my escape. And I think that it says something about the world is, a lot of people want to escape it. You know, and we need to have an escape. But, you know, I don't have to worry about something that I know nothing about, which is my own like situation and everything. I can sit here and I can wonder what the hell this like wall is that's full of these like silos up at the top end. Okay, I feel like I was supposed to do that. But yeah, things can be complicated, but I feel sometimes there isn't an answer. Yes, rescuing your ball, for sure. I wouldn't even call it simple. I mean, these are complicated problems that we're faced with, as far as how to get by and how to do everything like that, even just in-game. I think we're allowed to feel smart, kind of feel good about ourselves when we play stuff. Or maybe even that we're given, like, abilities to rise to set occasions, you know? Okay, I think I need that back over here. Like, look at, like, you just, when it comes to, like, the in-game universe, we just smelted lava. Well, that would be like molten metal. Like we have just melted down metal. Like that's a kiln for sure, and that was a furnace. We just lit a fire and everything like that. But like, it's all just here, like already prepared for us to do this. Like, how do they know what part we need? Well, yeah, it's molten metal. Like it's literally like lava and magma and everything like that is essentially liquid earth. So yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, yes. Like if you ever like get the chance, like search like blacksmithing and everything like that. Boom. But yeah, like see, how do they know to like, you know, hey, we're coming through here and we're gonna need this gear? I mean, they would probably know that like, I think this would be going a little far just to pretty much have your father just be like, oh, I don't want him to be so useless, so I'm gonna put him through like this huge test. Nah. I think it has to do with the communication. Okay, like, I really do think that, like, he didn't expect to die. You kind of have to carry things on. Maybe he died, like, I'm pretty sure he died a while ago. In fact, that's kind of that's my working theory right now. Is he died a while ago, and we were just saying goodbye. And so, you know... Or, what if, like, different like sections left? Like, what if all these towns and everything, because they're all just as dilapidated as the house was. What if everybody was getting ready to go out and it was just like, okay, like you're gonna leave first, you're gonna leave first, you're gonna leave first, and you're like, this character is just the last one to leave. So yeah, everything's been made to like interchange. That way, like anybody who like got to this point and they had extra parts, like they could leave that part behind. Well, that's what I'm saying, is, like, all these parts have been left behind, like, with the mentality of, like, hey, like, we don't need this extra, like, ore here, so we're gonna leave it in this kiln. Oh, wait, what? Like, you know, this thing broke, so we're gonna, you know, leave this thing behind for you. Like, I mean, I feel like having, like, extra pieces as far as, like, if there was more molten metal, not just enough for the gear, would have been a really good, like, thing. Or, because there's always, like, just enough for you. Or maybe it was like, oh yeah, like, you know, you're gonna need this, and just every person, it's just like, okay, like, do you need anything from, like, Outpost 1? No? You're good? okay, like, we're leaving then. And they take this kind of vehicle and off they go. I believe that given a long enough timeline, if it's the end of the world, like, I figure, yeah, at a certain point, people would be like, you know, given that this has been going on for generations, like, yeah, like, in an end of the world scenario, I kind of feel like they would sit there and be like, okay, like, if we don't work together, we're all fucked. You know, I wouldn't even call it empathy. Like, I feel like something happened, people freaked the fuck out. And, like, thus the collapse of society and everything like that. And then they started to rebuild a little bit. And I think we're all trying to get to kind of the same place. And, like, whoever our father was, because he has that schematic, like, every person along this road was building one of these, like, things to get us all there. Because we can't stay here anymore for whatever fucking reason. Maybe that fucking acid rain shit that was going on is slowly making its way to us. But, yeah, because, I mean, like, there are no artificial lights anymore. I haven't even seen fucking fire, save for smashing into something at Mach 10 or the acid rain. But, yeah, I do feel like a lot of, like, you know, we are trying to move, like, and get everybody to a certain place. Or maybe, like, it was, like, whoever was closest, they left. We lost contact, so, like, now we're sending another one. Maybe because, like, the fucking radio tower was way back there. So, like, what if the range of the radio tower only went so far, and each of these people that left were like, hey, like, I'll send somebody back for you. And, like, we just never heard anything. So it went generation, generation, generation. And, like, now, like, you're the last one. Everybody who has gone before you is gone. And so, like, you have one of these machines, and you've been slowly, like, as you find what works and what doesn't work, have built and built and built on it. And now you have, like, all this junk and everything, and, you know, yeah, radio's still in there. It's above the bed. It's just, I haven't heard anything from it. It hasn't even lit up. I've been paying attention to it. But, yeah, because, I mean, you gotta think. We started out, first thing we hit was the radio tower. And that's how we got the sale and everything like that. You know, and I figure somebody along the way would be like, oh, hey, like, we can't just rely on, yeah, no way, that's what I'm saying, is, like, we might be out of radio range. So everybody who went before us, and these aren't two-way radios. Like, they're one-way radios. We wouldn't know what happened to somebody else unless they found a radio to transmit back. And we haven't found shit. And maybe those are out of range. So, like, people have gone, and we don't know what the hell has happened. But see, that's why it's weird. Like, why is everything so fucking convenient? Oh, hey, like, you know, we break our wheel. Oh, well, we have an extra set of wheels here. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's plot armor. But, I just really feel like there should be an explanation there of why everything is, or like, I want there to be an explanation, but like I was saying before, I think part of the charm is you're supposed to sit here and fucking mull it over, and it's like the worst enemy for somebody like me who, like, I need to know the answer, but I'm just gonna run myself ragged trying to, like, come up with whatever I feel is, like, I just missed all that. Well, hopefully we won't run out of fuel. I'm about to, like, we might have to burn the radio. But, no, it's, I wish I knew why everything was, like, so convenient and everything like that. I mean, it gives kind of, like, the false pretense that, like, oh yeah, no matter what stuff you go through, and maybe that's what the developer's trying to, like, just kind of get across, is like, yeah, no matter what you're going through, like, you know, there's always going to be a happy ending for you. Kind of give you, like, some positive reinforcement and stuff. Because you gotta realize, like, even in, like, the most realistic, like, games, like, they're still trying to convey a message. And maybe that's what they're trying to say, is, like, yeah, like, you know, even in the worst of times, like, things are still gonna happen. Sometimes it is convenient. Sometimes it's like it's meant to be there, but... they want to make it work. I'm pretty sure, given a long enough timeline, I could probably find a lot of stuff that no matter how bad you want it to work, it's probably still not going to. Okay, see, now we're getting into like we've gone through ships, we've gone through workshops, we've smelted stuff. I definitely feel like these are skills that were brought on through necessity, because you know how to do just too much. And I don't think anybody with like any kind of like access to video games or entertainment-based stuff other than trying to survive would know how to do half of this stuff. Oh yeah, like I said, this entire game is like an artistic piece. And a lot of what far the, okay, shit. I don't want to give up hope of meeting a friend. We'll get rid of the bell. We're running out of fuel. Oh wait, we have, okay. We're gonna keep this here, but we're gonna use the damn sail. I keep forgetting that I have sails. But yeah, this whole experience is like artistic. And like I like that it's upbeat, you know, like everything about the story is like this is terrible, you know, but everything else as far as like the soundtrack and everything, it's all upbeat. And I mean it is pretty in the background and everything, but it seems like such a desolate world to me. Or even sort of the sense that, like, you know, oh yeah, like, you know, it's a real pretty scenery and everything, but like there's no one to really enjoy it with. Yeah, kind of knocks out the whole being pups situation. Geysers. I mean, it could be. I think... No, I don't think it's just you. I think that even in cases like, because I suffer from depression really, really bad, and even in cases where it's just terrible for a really long time, there is a sense that, like, you just have to find a way to bring, like, light and happiness to you, even if you're lying to yourself. That's where it gets really sad, is when you start fighting with yourself and realizing, hey, like, you keep lying to yourself. That's where it gets tricky. See, now it was hopeful, it was colorful, and now, like, all of a sudden, there's a fucking blizzard out of fucking nowhere. There's also the sense, it's like, are we even, like, in the regular flow of time? What if this is a time lapse? What if we've been traveling for fucking years? Well, I would say that, but if you look at my odometer down there, I think I've been skipping all the damn fuel. Shit. Okay, we're gonna melt down the bell. Because I feel like I need energy. Oh, that's something else to be aware of too, is all of this is powered by that steam stuff, like the repair tool, everything. Not just the engine. It's okay, we can always burn the radio. We can burn everything. Regular railroad tracks. There we go, there's some more fuel. Come on. Put that down. Savage. Yes, 100%. Well, right now the air seems to be, like, doing alright. It's weird, though. It feels like the suction isn't actually taking fuel, but, you can't turn on the suction without it. Are you done? Good. Okay. So like, so something like this, like we just kind of ended up in a smokestack, I think. This looks like a smokestack, but I mean, there's rooms coming off it and everything like that. I feel like, I don't know, maybe the ship itself, like the actual like vessel was designed because we knew what this journey was going to entail. So we tailor-made a ship to get us through everything. What if that was the case? What if it's like, what if it's a story of just like somebody got pretty far and that's like, shit, we don't have this part, and they like up and died. And so, like, you know, somebody else came through and it was like, okay, like, we're going to need this part, so we're going to build this right here. And, like, you know, so the next person, the next person, the next person, they were just like, okay, we're going to replace this, go on, and then they run into something else. And it's just like, next step, next step, next step. Okay, I don't think I can go that way. Jesus Christ. Chair up. See, that's what kills me. I think there's only one person right now, but I feel like it would have been like colony ships. You know, I feel like they wouldn't just send one person at a time in one of these. Kind of, sort of, except for, I think... See, that's what kind of drives me a little crazy about the beginning, is because... I mean, it could be that way, but everything's so convenient, so I feel like, yeah, like, there's had to have been people and communication to say, like, hey, here's what's going on. But at the same time, I feel like, why are you the last one? You know, in a post-apocalyptic thing, when, a lot of, like, a big trope, actually, when it comes to, like, post-apocalyptic things, is, like, controlling, say, like, childbirth. And if you remember, there was the crib underneath the house. So what if, like, you had been kept a secret, and everybody else had moved on and you were left behind? But, like, say, like, there was this prototype train that was left behind as well. So everybody took off, and, like, you crawled out of the, like, basement, you buried your father, and it was just like, okay, like, I have to follow everybody else. Or try to. I don't know, like I said, I think that's the charm of the game, is, like, you don't know what actually happened. And I think it's kind of up to you to create your own story. Okay, there's nothing there. What am I missing? Is this something that I... Ah, that's what I'm missing here. Okay, there we go. I'm figuring it out. Exactly. I mean, it adds to the replayability for sure. But I do feel like that's what the game's meant to do. It's meant to get you thinking. And, like, every new part of it is like, oh yeah, we're alone. But then there's a radio, and then you hear voices. Which, still nothing from the radio, by the way. But I also feel like, you know, developers and everything, they usually have, like, something to do with, like, yeah, it's art, you know, I'm out of, yeah, here's something weird, too, right, so it's all steam-powered and everything like that, and when you burn this stuff, right, it's a pipe, and it's steam, so that makes you think of, like, energy. Is it directly correlated with how much water you have? Like, is that what, like, the measurement is, like, you know, because you have to burn off the water to make the steam, and that's what's powering everything. But, like, when you use a hose, it takes from your water. Well, it takes from your steam. And I wouldn't say you, like, enjoyed the ride. Like, I enjoyed the game 100%. If we're talking philosophically. I think if you're gonna suffer anyway, yeah, like, you have to find a way to enjoy the ride. if we're talking philosophically still. But as far as in-game, it's just kind of like, I think there's a lot of shit you do for the simple reason that you just simply have to do it. I think you have to try to find the beauty in your situation. Or at least try to find some semblance of beauty, like when it comes to your situation. Dude, I am a strong little dude. Like, I just pushed this entire freaking box forward. Okay. Let's see. So we're trying to go ahead and get us up to the top. Okay, that's... I think there's something to do out there, and I'm just not seeing it. Or do I pull that? I don't think I pull it. Not there, not there, not there. Man, what am I missing? Do that. Oh, duh, I'm an idiot. There we go. Ha! There we go. All right. See, and that's why I believe, like, to a certain degree, that people kind of already came through here and knew, like, what you would run into, is because there were all the parts and everything, but we've reached a point where something like that happens. Why was all that stuff there? Like, if somebody else had reached this point, they would have fell down there. And we're on tracks now. Like, we are legitimately on, like, tracks. I think in order to see, like, the outside of the thing. Yeah, so, like, we're on tracks now. So, like, did we know, like, I mean, is this like a Snowpiercer kind of mentality? Where, like, you know, we know that we're on a railroad. We know, like, we're doing this stuff. So we had to design something that was a locomotive. And the whole thing takes after locomotives and everything like that. As far as steam engines and everything like that. You know, the sails, you know. I don't know, the energy thing being water, too, is kind of like a fun one to kind of play with. Because you don't really know. There's too little information when it comes to, like, this universe and everything. To, like, be 100% sure, you know, but... They're just, like, long expanses of freaking nothing. God damn it. The point of the game is to, like, just a story-based, like... Well, yeah, it's... Yes, I get, like, the plot armor mentality. But, like, there still has to be, like, what encouraged it, though. Like, what would you find in your own life to go through that influenced you to such a degree that you would go out of your way to create something like this? This is an indie game. And even if it is, like, a big studio that did it, like, what possibly could have happened to somebody where, like, this, they imagine this kind of adventure, you know? I think that that's why, like, something like this is actually really fun, is because, like, trying to imagine all of that, because, like, all of this is a representation of something from somebody's brain. Jesus Christ. Like crashing and burning. Beautiful representation of crashing and burning right there. Alright. That up. That's one of those little... But see, now we just went through factories, we've been through, like, lake beds, we went through an entire submarine. That could only have been a one-way trip. We knocked down that propeller, which fell, like, really, really far. So, I feel like that alone, like, this has to be a one-way trip. And we knew it. So I think we radioed ahead and just, like... It's kind of like it was a generation project. Like, the people just died off slowly and you're the last one. Like, I still believe that's kind of true, but, like, they knew what you would run into. So they took their time and, like, okay, like, this is how we are going to get your vessel through this particular thing. I think that's why it's so convenient. And why, everything is tailor-made to fit this thing. Yeah, I know, right? I just think it's weird that you're so tiny and you're able to, like, pull your entire freaking train through here. And, like, just the cliff in the background. Like, all the scaffolding. Like, things aren't even, like... These aren't even finished projects. Well, that's where I'm kind of getting, like I said, this idea that, like, hey, maybe... God damn it. Yeah, I don't believe that. There we go, get rid of that. I got my can. Okay, I think you're being ridiculous, sir. Like, this is one hell of a fucking workout plan. But honestly, like, if I had to put this much thought into my workout plan, I would just accept being fat. I'm not gonna lie, like... I learned aerodynamics for the sail, I learned freaking engineering for the train engine, as far as I can tell, like, everybody's dead, so I outlasted everybody else just to have a workout plan. That's some serious fucking dedication. And I can already push shit around, like, that's like 12 times my freaking mass, so I doubt that. I don't feel like this is a one-punch man situation. Okay, we've got wind. Let's use the wind. So I can go ahead. Nah, like, you're still running into, like, pipelines and everything like that. But, like, all of the engineering is almost uniform. Like, there in the background, the little thing that we're about to come across right now, with the little circles and the two white lines, like, right here, you know, circle, red on the outside, white on the inside. You've got 4 of them, and that tells you, like, what aspect of your machine is actually hurt if you look at those, like, what essentially is a life bar to the right of the energy thing. So, like, the designs are all not really color-coded, but, like, symbol-coded. But, like, still, it might seem like a very basic design, but, like, they're all the same. They're all uniform. There's a pattern. So that's why I feel like whoever designed, like, this designed fucking everything. Maybe he didn't build everything, but, like, either that or we're getting close to, like, what he did build. Like, you know, the big thing. Because if you remember, the first factory we went to was the big thing that had the legs, and it looked like a train, but it was on 4 legs. You ever watch the movie Wild Wild West? Very old movie. It's kind of like that. Well, no, this is like red and white, as far as like the design that I'm talking about. But no, it was on the gigantic billboard. But okay, yeah, our wind is out. I'm gonna keep going forward. Oh, okay, about the wild. Yeah, so like a lot of people. Yeah, true. I am older. Sad sometimes to admit. Then again, I feel like that gives me the kind of perspective that I have. I think a lot of like generational stuff too. Like, you know, a lot of our later generations, so that would include like you and a lot of other people, you know, they've been given like this mentality, and like my generation definitely was given a different mentality. That's alright, it takes all kinds. So like we are like in the bowels of a very massive ship here. We haven't heard anything on the radio. I mean, I wouldn't say that. But I am older, and I mean, 365 days is a lot of time for shit to happen differently. Just saying. And I'm 32, like, in case anybody's wondering. So, like, I do make a lot of, like, 90s and, you know, a lot of 90s references, because that's what I grew up on. And, you know, my grandfather was pretty awesome and taught me a lot about, like, classical music and everything like that, so I make a lot of references to that, too. But, the old saying, those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. It's all cycles, man. Like, we're just repeating a lot of, like, messed up stuff and looking at the differences between the generations. You know, it's why, like, when I say stuff about this being generational, like, things increase generationally and things will decrease generationally. So, like, in this case, you know, when it comes to real life stuff, like, yeah, I think that, like, the older generations went through a lot more and it was a lot harder, and we definitely learned that you can't choose everything. You have to live with whatever the hell hand you're dealt. And a lot of the later generations are like, oh no, like, we can do whatever the hell we want and, like, everything will turn out fine, which is why you have a lot of, right now, people around my age that are kind of dropping like flies. Is we're caught somewhere in the fucking middle, and it's real rough. That's why disassociation is kind of the best practice in a lot of cases, or at least in my cases. And in this case, like, generational, like, this is what I keep seeing, is like, you've got like pictures like constantly reminding you of like people. Like, this is the guy in the picture that we kept seeing like at home. So, like, your dad worked with this guy. He's the other one. So, I mean, see, like, right there they are, you know. Like, I'm pretty sure that's your dad, and then whoever this guy is. See, right there, look, that's your locomotive. That's what you are currently driving right there. See? That's what we've been going through this entire time. And I think that's your dad. Bob's your uncle. But no, I think you guys were I think these two were business partners, and like, he went on and created, like, yeah, this massive, yeah, he kept on going, like, with all these factories and everything was interchangeable because it was only these two that were really working on it, you know. That's why everything's interchangeable, and there's all these workshops and everything like that. It's a massive factory and supply line that you're kind of like following. Or maybe this is like your uncle. Like your dad died and you're trying to like find your uncle because like you really have no idea. But then you get here and like, I mean, look, this is like a memorial. Dan Henriksen. They actually gave you a name, Henriksen. I did not notice that before. I wish I knew that so I could look for that fucking name in the background. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking is like either he's like a really good friend of your, like, whoever this person was. I think, yeah, it's post-apocalyptia because you have the very clear sign of the water like receding and receding and receding, and like generationally, like they kept building ports and shit like closer and closer and closer until like there was just no water left. I think that because there ended up being so very little water left that we started like repurposing ships to essentially like operate on land. And we were trying to like dual purpose like railroad technology in order to do this, which is why you've got something that, you know, there's all the railroads things, but like I think we were figuring out that like, hey, that's not always going to work. So like we transitioned into these all-terrain things, which is like this very final picture here. But it all started with this like little locomotive here. Maybe there's a ton of these things out there, like a ton of these actual like ships actually walking around, like generation ships. Like if you don't know what that is, sci-fi is what I'm referencing, is like, you know, a ship designed to be in space or like traveling for more than a single generation. And maybe this is how we kept civilization going, is just staying in one spot. Maybe we're outrunning that fucking storm. Well, that's what I'm saying, is I think when the water receded and everything, we're in an area that had a lot to do with, like, naval stuff and shipping and everything like that. And essentially, what else were we going to use these old ships for? There's no water. Like, we can't sail anymore. So, I mean, we might as well dual-purpose the parts into something like this. And I mean, all of the innards, like, it's gray. It's gray. It's not red and white like everything else, including our little locomotive. So I think we're using, like, literally, this is how we decided to go ahead and make stuff. And yeah, we are in one of these gigantic ships. Again, the legs aren't like discolored either, so. Yeah, it's why, like I said, the artistic style, trying to figure out how all of this lined up. Like, it's like that right there, those are like the signs that like this is not like something that has been around for a very long time. Like, shit breaks all the time. Like, what if they were partners and they had like a huge falling out? Like they the reason why they could never get any of this stuff to work was because, like, the uncle or whatever, who, like, went on to be this business tycoon, like, just was missing all the, like, certain pieces. Because the other one took this. Maybe it has stuff to do with, like, maybe, the future needs the things from the past in order to function properly, because they're all built on that, you know? I mean, you want to talk about, like, real, Oh yeah, like the sound and the soundtrack and the engineering when it comes to like what all of this is supposed to make you feel is like top notch. Definitely very much one of the damn it. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we have to put the fire out. I think that's exactly what I was supposed to do. Drop the fucking explosive barrel into the fire. That'll solve it. But yeah, no, the soundtrack was definitely well done in this game. Which I think that might be also a pretty good sign of like maybe kind of a return to like what games used to be. If that makes sense, because like a lot of stuff can be kind of convoluted nowadays, I suppose. Like it's not okay. I don't think that's what I'm supposed to do. It's not working. I mean, it's on fire. I don't think. Can't really pull that. Maybe I'm just trying to drag that hose like the wrong way. I think maybe I need to go pull the. But yeah, the fact that they don't have to focus on story and they don't have to focus on dialogue and like it's all done through world building. I think we need more games like this that are, you know, less hack and slash, less murder everything in sight, and more I don't know, more games that make us think. I've noticed that actually in pop culture. People are getting really ticked off at characters that just act, and that's been allowed to happen for a really long time. It's just like literally things only happen because the character made a really stupid choice that nobody would ever make in a million years. Okay, that's not. But okay, yeah, you just die if you freaking. Okay, so that's like a save point. That's the first time I've actually died playing this. No, it's okay. See, an Eldritch God. It's fine. We're just gonna forget that that happened. Man, it's fine. Hot. Very fucking sad story about that one actually. Had a friend who did that. Used to be my roommate actually, but yeah, that was rough actually. Like I do miss him. Like the whole thing was really kind of like rough as far as still don't really understand why. But I mean, that's kind of why I talk a lot about mental health and everything like that. And generally, I don't even think, if I'm gonna be completely honest about the situation, like, you know, the guy had lost his job and like it probably just didn't want to try anymore. But I just think that we need to be there more for each other as people, because I think that's what in the end kind of like happened. Is just like, you know, there weren't enough people there. People were too busy, like, with their own lives. Okay, yep. I was out of the fire, damn it. People get too busy with their own lives, and they forget that, like, yeah, you have your own life going on, and, like, yes, this is true, but everybody else also has their own shit going on, too. And I think we forget sometimes that, yeah, sometimes people do rely on us to, just kind of, like, keep in for another day. I don't know. I guess my buddy ran out. Decided to go out in a blaze of glory. Well, no, that's the whole reason why I'm trying to do this, is, for one, I want to tell people, like, hey, like, you've been through fucked up shit. Well, everybody's, like, going through fucked up shit. You know, you're not alone. Like, that's the big thing. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know, I'm sorry, but, like, fucked up shit is going to happen. It's going to happen to you every day. Like, you know, you think a happy ending is guaranteed? Fuck no. But, you're not alone in it, is, like, the big takeaway. That's why, like, I like these adventures. I like being able to, you know, and I say, like, oh yeah, like, disassociate, and then, like, talk endlessly about, like, the real world and everything like that. But even then, being able to break it down from a, like, while playing a game, you can sit here and just, like, talk about this stuff and everything like that, not actually be in the situation that you're in, like, can help. And hearing, you know, oh hey, like, you know, oh yeah, I'm going through a hard time, like, so-and-so, a girl didn't like me back, or something like that, and then you hear, like, oh yeah, like, this guy is, like, living on his own, you know, like, you know, his friends are all fucking committing suicide left and right, and, things aren't going really well, you know, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, like, that girl, like, that turned me down might not be the worst thing in the world, you know, and seeing that, like, oh yeah, like, at the very end of the day, what are we doing? You know, we're playing video games. This is our outlet, and, with the world kind of getting more and more and more disconnected, I think we need more things like this, where we can sit, we can interact, we can talk while going on an adventure. An adventure which, by the way, I am really freaking struggling on figuring out, like, what I do here. I'm gonna try to pull, because there is that red thing right there. I think I know, I think I figured it out. But no, I do kind of believe that, like, it's one of the reasons why entertainers are... Yeah, well, I haven't tried pulling this all the way back. Or, wait a minute. Well, I can't get the hose, and remember there was that one section, right, that, we couldn't reach something, and we kind of had to go ramming speed. And maybe this is just me being a savage, but, sometimes, brute force is the way to go! I was right, sometimes violence is the answer, sir. Or madam. You can be violent and be a girl, too. You act surprised. I will have you know, sir. Okay, I will have you know, pup, that, violence, over the course of history, has solved more problems than almost any other solution. You know, you need resources half the time? Let's just go over there and take them. I wouldn't say that it, like, ultimately survives every... Well, ultimately solves every problem, but, we're definitely a society that has learned to, like, jump to that as soon as possible. Okay. Hey, you are the one who said you identify as a dog, so... I am just doing you a service, sir. Pup. Whatever you would like to be called. I aim to please. That is something. I'm really hoping that, like, you know, this is only my first, like, actual playthrough of anything. But, I am hoping that this does turn into kind of a fun community and everything like that. I've been a part of too many where it's always, like, way too, like, hey, I'm trying to cater to literally... Okay, that's not gonna work. I think I do have to actually make that jump all the way over to the other one. But, I've been a part of too many communities that, like, try to cater way too much to, like, everybody. But, like, I do want, you know, what I was talking about before. As far as, like, hard truths and everything like that. Like, there we go. Ah! Okay, let's see what's over here real quick. Now that we finally have some fucking progress going. Jesus. working. Another button. There's fuel. Okay, we're just gonna put that there. I have a feeling we'll be able to come and grab it here in a minute. But yeah, I want to be able to kind of, like, you know, I understand that life is shit. Trust me. I understand that, like, a lot of things are fucking terrifying. But I wanna, you know, I just want people to, like, know, like, you know, stuff like this, like, you know, is out there where you can forget about, like, what the hell is going on. You don't have to, like, wallow in, like, hard times and everything. You know, come out. I want to build a community kind of on this mentality that, like, hey, we're all trying to fucking escape something. You know, doesn't matter if it's our own lives, it doesn't matter if it's stress or anything like that. I, personally, the reason I'm doing this, I'm trying to escape my depression, my anxiety, the fact that, like, I have to be a fully functioning adult and, like, find some way to make an income and upkeep everything I've got here, and I have no idea how to do that right now. We're all trying to escape something. Some things are bigger than others, but, like, when you're the one personally in the situation, even if it is, like, something that, like, you know, is tiny, it does not feel tiny to the person in that situation. So now is this community going to be like, oh yeah, like, we're gonna, like, you know, break down and tell each other our problems around a campfire and, like, hug each other while we sob? Probably not. Okay, I'm sorry, like, it's probably not gonna be that way. But I do want it to be something where, like, you know, we can feel like I said, not so alone. Been playing with the idea of, you know, a lot of people do this with their communities. You know, there's, like, special hashtags, or, like, they're called something special. That way, you know, it is, like, that inclusive thing, you know. I was thinking demon dogs as far as, like, you know, no marshmallows, but, not demon dogs as in something, like, you know, destructive or, like, you know, satanic or religious in any way, but, like, you know, no, like, we all, like, fight, you know, we all fight against our demons or run from them or accept them, you know, in some way, shape, or form. Like, you know, we are an extension of those demons. So demon dog seems like it would fit pretty well. There we go. That's something else to kind of, like, take from this too, is, like, the fuel sources for all this stuff. Well, I mean, I'm in for it. I am big burning doggo. I don't mind if you are all part of my pack, but that is the reason for the whole that is the reason. Well, yeah, not everything is about, like, us as individuals, sir. Sometimes, believe it or not, things can be about other people. I know, it's crazy to believe that, right? Bonk. Okay, so we sent that down. What else is there to do? Is there another thing down here? Oh yeah, because we couldn't get over the one thing, so there has to be. So I think there's something else. Maybe there's not. What is that? Why is that here? I can't even pick that up. Am I supposed to jump on this to get over something? Oh, I think they put this down here just for people like me who are just like, huh, like, I wonder, like, what else is down here? Because you can't get any progression if you trap yourself down here, so they put a special box that you can't actually pick up. Special box. Special. Sorry, special. Ah, there we go. Fucking start button. Sometimes it all comes down to just hitting the button. I definitely, like, I am hoping to refine this a lot over time, you know. I do want it to be, you know, where, like, yes, like, somebody can talk about their issues and everything. That'll be mainly for, you know, our Discord stuff and everything. And I kind of want to be that background noise to somebody who's like, oh yeah, 100%. Every time you get to some kind of, like, progressive point, like, it's the music that kind of is, like, letting you know, hey, you did something good. What's driving me a little crazy right now is I kind of wish, I'm just gonna walk out here so we can kind of see that, like, this thing is making progress a little bit. Like, legs are turning. Yeah, like, you hear it in everything, but it's a lot different, like, seeing something on, like, such a large mass, actually move. It's kind of like a terrifying thing, actually, like, find something that truly makes you feel small. I know when I was looking at, the whole nuclear propulsion, my ASVAB and everything like that through the Navy, you know, finding out, it's like, okay, yeah, like submarines, but you could go onto a super carrier, and then like, researching into that, those are like floating fucking cities, man. Like, you wanna feel small. Super carrier. Like, stand next to one. But nah. But yeah, right now, before we continue on, as far as my running theory, I am thinking that this is, like, you know, it is that post-apocalyptic thing. Your dad clearly knew this person. I don't know if it's a relative or what, but they clearly knew each other. Like, you are in the prototype of the first thing that was made, with a couple extra parts, like the bare bones thing. Like, yeah, you are in that thing, in like where the mast is and everything for your sails. That used to be where those like smokestacks were. So like you've tailor-made whatever this original thing is, like, into whatever you need it to be, and you're moving on as far as you're trying to get to somewhere. And it's very clear that, like, a lot of, if somebody is not helping you, then it's got to be like somebody has come through here before, or everything is universal. So you're not the first one to make the trip, you're not the first one to have one of these locomotives, which it would make sense. I mean, it would be like, you know, that first picture, like, above us is like, you know, like, oh yeah, here's the first cell phone our company ever made. Like, you're still gonna have that picture. You might even still have that damn phone. Even though you made hundreds of them, you still have one of those phones, just as, like, memorabilia, even though we're on smartphones now. But I feel like it's one of those cases, you know, because everything is too convenient. Well, it might even be that you were talking to this guy, like, you know, your father and this guy were talking, you know, and, like, he's trying to, like, as far as, like, what, you know, your potential uncle might be trying to get you to where he is. And so, like, he's been sending this stuff back and putting it all in place, and, like, you know, you both were supposed to go there, or maybe this was a plan that was laid in, like, a long time ago, and it was just never, like, you know, brought to fruition. Or maybe there was, like, a falling out, and, like, you know, the uncle's just like, hey, like, I know we had, like, bad shit, I took over this company and I kind of fucked you, but if you ever want to, like, come back, like, here's how you do it. And, like, your dad was like, nah, like, I ain't gonna fucking do that. But you, it's just like, well, I have no other fucking choice, so, like, I'm coming to visit, uncle. You know, I mean, it could be a lot of things. I missed the button. See that in the background, the murals? I do love their attention to detail. See, like, we didn't go up in elevation either. Like, all of a sudden we're, like, in a mountainous area. We've got wind power, and I'm kinda want to try to be a little sparing on the fuel. Because it gave us a lot, so I have a feeling. And it's trying to give us more that I just freaking missed. God, I hope that doesn't bite me in the ass. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, Yep, everything's fine. Yep, everything's fine. It's all okay. Fucking go faster, please. We're gonna need more fuel. Steam. Fuel, please go fast. Volcano, I believe. Do the same thing. The engine's turned off. We need to have the engine turned on. You would think that I would be fucking like with the sails down. But no, like, I guess, like, the sails only have one speed. Come on, come on, come on. I can't actually see where my character is half the time. Oh. Yep. That's a problem. Yeah, see, and like, I mean, you just, like, that's the way you could get through. Like, you know, like I said, you know, all this thing, it's like, it's an adventure, it's an adventure, it's an adventure, and like, you know, as far as your mentality about it too, it's just kind of, Archer is, oh yeah, like, you know, we're just gonna have, like, this, very, like, fun time, and it's definitely gonna mean, like, a whole lot, and then, like, you just run into something like this, like something completely out of your control, like jacks up your entire situation, and like you're left with nothing. So what do you do? I mean, you can't just kind of sit there, like you have to find a way to kind of keep going. Like, even the sail is broken. Like, look, our little chain for the sail isn't even hooked up. I don't know, this is, I don't know, this one kind of hurts me in the feels, you know, it's, I mean, even, like, you know, to take the, sort of, you know, you're riding that gravy train and whatnot, like, there were a lot of cases where it was just, like, you know, what a freaking timing. Are you talking about the earthquake, or, like, just, like, when I decide to, like, get onto, like, the sad subject, or, whatever, I'm gonna continue on. But, nah, it's just like, when you have something really good going and it just all of a sudden, like, fucking collapses, man. And all you can do is find a way to, like, try to continue to make progress, even though you don't have anything left. Oh yeah, perfect timing, right? It's all so convenient. There's another bike for you. You just passed it. But like, look, there's tons of sails, there's tons of these, like, iterations around us right now, where it's like, a lot of people have come, they've made it to, like, this place. And, like, it's water. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's obviously receded to a certain point, but, like, we still have water and everything like that, so it's not completely gone. I mean, if it's salt water, it's hardly able to use. I mean, you can always, like, distill it, but there is still water, so it's not like, oh, hey, like, we're completely out of hope. But, oh, hold on. Before I forget. Come on. No! Are you kidding me? We brought those things the entire way. We can't get the chair. We brought that fucking chair all the way. And we can't get to it. You know what? We have to. we have to leave it behind. See, it goes right along with what I was saying. It's just like, even when you have a plan and it's all mapped out, and like shit fails, like, it's just, it sucks. I mean, shit happens. Shit definitely fucking happens. It's not, there's nothing else you can do but try to move on. And, it sucks. You have to leave a lot of things behind that you really don't want to. Including our chair. 100%. Like, I am talking not about my own personal situation when it comes to, like, family or friends or anything like that. Nope. That fucking chair. And you're gonna give me shit about being fucking old. Oh, man. And there it is, you know. There you go. That's Lone Sails. Far Lone Sails. Very beautiful game. I absolutely fucking adore this game. Yeah. That's it. You know, you made it all this way. I mean, I don't know if, like, your vessel was supposed to be, like, seaworthy and you were supposed to try to take it, and then all of that happened, and it was like, okay, well, there's definitely no, like, continuing on from here, like, the thing's fucked. But, nah, I think, yeah, you get here and you light this beacon, you know, smoke signals. I don't know if this was, like, the intended thing, as far as, were you trying to make it to the beacon, or were you supposed to go further? You never know, it could be like a time-lapse thing, too. Like, you could be building all of this, and every place that you stop is like you had to stop and make this shit. God, I wish I could look at the sky and, like, see something like that. But see, right there is, like, there is somebody else out there. Somebody had to have blown that horn. So there is someone out there. But yeah, there you have it. That is, Far, Lone Sails. You know, and I think the title kind of gives you that sense, too, of, like, you are alone. Like, especially, like, that's why I say, I think you lost your father, you buried him, you were telling him goodbye, and you took his machine that him and this other guy had created together. Like, the other guy went through and made, like, these giant iterations. And I mean, it's all smokestacks and everything like that the further you go in and everything. So, I mean, maybe that contributed to this, like, post-apocalyptic thing. Maybe it is global warming, you know, and that's why the fucking water all receded, is because, you know, I mean, there's still water, but there still will be water, you know, at certain points, but there will be less and less and less of it. But, yeah, I think that, all of that kind of happened. The world went super industrial with it. Maybe kind of destroyed the planet by doing so. And so you're using, like, this, you know, everybody else is gone and you're just, like, pretty much completely alone, and you're just trying to find someone else. Because I think maybe, like, the dad probably would have kept the house, like, all together. And, like, it looked dilapidated, so I think he passed, and, like, things just started falling apart. And you finally were like, okay, like, I've been here and I've been unhappy for a really long time. Like, I can't just stay here anymore. So you say your goodbyes, and you don't know what the fuck is out there. You just hope that it's somehow going to work out. And I think sometimes that's what you gotta do, you know. So yeah, if anybody else is watching this, thank you for joining me on this adventure. But yeah, my takeaway as far as playing this, and I hope you use it in your life as well, is when you hit like sort of that wall and you don't know what to do anymore. I mean, sometimes you aren't gonna have the answers, and you're gonna hear a lot of stuff. College is the way to go, or get a job, that's the way to go, and like you're sitting there, it's like I can't be this unhappy and like expected to do this shit. Try stuff. You've got to do what you got to do at certain points. You have to, but you also need to free up the chance for you to see what's going to happen. If you don't ever try it, you're never going to actually go anywhere. And in this case, why do I get that takeaway from this game? Because, like, everything that fucking happened, somehow everything always was convenient and always worked out. And, like, you had no idea. You really have no idea that it's going to until you actually get there and you start working on it. But, and in some cases, it's all for fucking naught. At the very end, our shit fucking broke. It still wasn't fucking working. But, toward the end, I also kind of came into, and I think I spoke a little bit about it too, is at the very end, like, you had to call for help. Like, you had to signal to somebody. It's like, okay, like, I have gone as far as I possibly can, and this is as far as I can make it. Like, I have no more resources. I've exhausted all of my tools. Like, I am here. Like, please, somebody tell me you are there as well. And, like, that's where, I kind of think I did get, a lot of my inspiration as far as doing this now. I've always wanted to stream, but, like, I'm just doing it now. But, I just played through this recently, and my mind works differently, and that's kind of was my takeaway, was like, holy shit, like, I'm going through all this, like, I'm figuring all these puzzles out and everything like that. I don't even know where the fuck I'm going. Like, nothing has been described to me. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Oh, great, my ship's fucking, I'm at the bottom of a smokestack. Oh, hey, cool, like, my car is fucking broken in half. And, yeah, like, a lot of actually what's going on, I have a weird way of attesting it to, like, my personal life, too, I'm, I'm in that situation where I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I really don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And, whereas, like, I'm kind of afraid right now that, like, shit might not work out, I'm also using that to see what makes me happy. And the sad thing is, I kind of have to admit, I don't, and I figure there's people out there that are kind of like me. I can't be the only one. So maybe we can, at the very least, forget about that little fact together. But, thank you for anybody who decided to join with me in this adventure. And, I want you all to know, like, you're not alone. And I can't wait to go on the next one with you guys. So, take care.